My brother, good to see you as always.
Always good to see you.
And thanks for jumping on this short notice. For the folks who don't know, I was supposed to have Kevin Lee on today, but Kevin and I, we fucked up. It was partially my fuck up, partially his fuck up. But he'll be on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Ejibra was in the neighborhood, getting pumped, my friend. getting solid. You've been lifting the weights. How steady are you lifting now?
I try to get 3 days a week, but shit gets crazy sometimes, and I can only get 2.
Dude, if I stop for just a couple of weeks, I start at 51, you start getting so weak. Even on TRT, everything just starts slipping. Your body's like, no, we don't need to be lifting heavy
I'm
shit.
sore as fuck.
Sure.
I've been rolling with little people the last few months.
Like what kind of little people? Hobbits?
I wish. Shit, I fucked them up.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I think hobbits would be extraordinarily strong. The hairy feet, they
Your
probably have a
footlocker.
lot of like some kind of. No, man, I bet their feet are fucking so strong. You can never footlock a
Dude,
hobbit.
have you seen the size of their heels?
They have giant heels, but I bet their ligaments and shit are different. I bet.
Inside
yeah,
heel
you know,
hook, I'll
that's
fuck them
weird
up.
because they're all barefoot. This is weird about the hobbits, right? They're barefoot. They got furry ass feet. They have giant feet because obviously they had to wear those feet over the shoes. But even in the books, they said they had big hairy
Dude,
feet
look at those
even in
feet.
the books. Yeah,
I
that's
toe
hobbits'
hold the
feet, bro.
shit out of that. Easy toe hold right there.
Maybe. My thinking is if their feet are that hairy, they go, oh, Jesus Christ, what happened to that lady? Don't do this to me, Jamie. This is a podcast.
Is that
What
a
the fuck are you
person?
doing? That's
Oh,
gout.
damn.
It's real.
Someone's got
it was a
gout inflammation. No, man, that's real. Did you think that was a Hobbit picture?
Yeah.
Oh, you did? Oh, that's
It's all Hobbit
hilarious.
feet.
Oh, my God. Google image got you again.
Isn't that elephantitis?
That's an algorithm. That's the Russians. They're trying to fuck with this show. No, what that is bunions, first of all. That's a painful thing that happens to your big toe. Some of it's genetic and some of it is putting your toes into pointed shoes for like long periods of time. Like people who have to go to work, like ladies in particular, they wear like super uncomfortable shoes that smush their toes up like that. Your toes aren't supposed to be like that.
I've seen this thing on Instagram where they could fix that now.
Yeah,
with like
they
rubber
can-
bands.
Yes. Well,
You think
I
that's
bet-
real?
Well, they have yoga toes. There's some shit that you use that you shove your feet in between these like styrofoam things and it stretches them
Yeah,
out.
yeah.
Apparently, that's supposed to be good for them. Vibram shoes is good. Like
still make those?
I run in those.
Didn't they get sued or something?
They did get sued.
Propaganda?
By a bunch of pussies.
Really?
Yeah, a bunch of people. I hurt my
Hey, I used to wear them too.
Yeah, look, man, they're harder to run in. No
They
bullshit.
feel good though. I like them.
I like them.
But once
they
all
make
that-
you grip the ground.
All that shit came out that they were like a fraud. They were a scam.
That's
and all
not
that.
what it is. I think they had made improper claims. If I'm not correct, if my information is correct, I think they made improper claims. I think that was what the word was. The word was that they had said some shit and that people had gotten injured. Like they said it would keep you from getting injured. It's all based on this idea that you're supposed to run barefoot.
Yeah, they said Mexicans
Strengths in
run
your feet.
barefoot.
Yeah,
Like
in the mountains.
Mexicans were like, fuck you. We got
Bro,
shoes.
but those guys up in the mountains that they're talking about in that book, Born to Run, I feel like they have, some of them made their own shoes with like tires. Like they cut tires and made their own shoes and they're running like 100 miles up there. Something crazy like that. Like they have insane endurance and they live up in that mountain and they just run around. Oh, speaking of Mexicans, one of the main reasons you're here, I want to talk to you, is because you're my favorite Mexican. And now we have a Mexican-American heavyweight champion of the motherfucking world.
That's crazy.
How crazy is that?
That's insane. I can't
Viva la
believe it.
Mexico.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. I didn't know Mexico had a heavyweight boxer.
Oh my God, Andy Ruiz is the shit. He
Yeah.
is the shit. He's what America needs right now with all this border wall crisis shit. A heavyweight champion that's Mexican.
Yeah.
Come on, son. And one that's fucking good and one that has a big belly. And he knocks out a dude who looks like he's chiseled out of granite. I mean, no one has ever had a better body than Anthony Joshua. You've only had a different body. No one's had a better body. He's like, what is he, like 6'7" or some shit
Can
like
I see
that?
him? I don't
oh
even know that
my
guy.
God, dude, Anthony Joshua is one of the best built heavyweight boxers of all time.
And he's legit. He was the champ and all that.
Olympic gold medalist, the champ, knocked out Vladimir Klitschko. I mean, he's a fucking monster,
From
man.
the UK?
From the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, he was the champ. And he was supposed to fight Big Baby Miller. And Big Baby Miller tested positive for the Mexican supplements, ironically enough. Boom. That's Anthony Joshua. I mean,
Oh,
come
yeah.
on, son.
Yeah.
How tall is he? Because he's gigantic.
He's got a 12-pack.
Because Andy Ruiz looked short in that fight. 6'6".
Shit.
Yeah, but
that's huge.
Ruiz is like 6'2". He just looked tiny when he's standing next to Joshua. Joshua's a giant of a man. And just fucking jacked. What does it say his weight listed as?
249.
249. I wonder if that was for the last fight. Because I'm sure with a giant dude like that, it varies back and forth. But, so I was out to dinner, and I get a text from Brendan Schaub. Brendan Schaub hit me with the spoiler alert. He said, fuck, Joshua got knocked out. And I was like, no. And I go, what happened? And he goes, he got fucked up in the 7th round.
By a Mexican.
And he goes, I'm sick. I go, you're sick? I go, I'm happy as fuck. I couldn't wait to come home and watch it. I love when crazy shit happens. This is my favorite thing in fights. Look at that guy. Look at no disrespect, champ. But he jokes about it himself. I'm trying to get him in here, too.
Oh, that would be crazy.
Look at his body. I mean, it looks like a regular dude.
What if he got shredded? How much would he weigh?
Why would he get shredded?
No, but if he
Get
did,
the fuck
though,
out of here.
he might be a middleweight, right?
I would feed him on the sneak tip. I'd wake him up in the middle of the night with some great Mexican food. That dude needs to stay exactly how he is. See, look, he's got muscles under there. Like, look at his stomach. He's just got some body fat on him. But here's one thing. If you do have great cardio, one thing that body fat can do is it can protect you somewhat. It's like wearing 8 sweaters. I've joked around about this before, and people think I'm bullshitting, and I kind of am a little bit, because I know most of the impact gets in there. But if you were going to fight a guy, and right before you fought him, he puts on a vest made out of fat and meat and stitches it up, and it sticks out like fucking 10 extra inches. You'd be like, hey, what is all this? What are you doing? You can't put that on. And then if you hit him to the body and he barely reacts, you'd be like, fuck. I can't believe this guy's cheating with this fat vest. Think about that shit.
Yeah.
If you have good cardio and you got some fat around your gut, that shit might protect you. Look at Daniel Cormier.
Yep. Fedor.
Look at Fedor. You're dealing with these giant dudes who can fuck you up with one shot. There might actually be an advantage to having a gut, and that's not bullshit at all. It's not ideal in the lower weight classes.
Bring back guts. He brought back fanny packs.
Guts. I'm bringing back. I'm thinking of growing my own.
Dude, how great
Tired
would that
of being
be?
healthy, barely hanging on. Tired of working out.
If chicks only dated dudes with guts?
That could be the new thing. Yeah.
Dude, that would be amazing. Are you kidding?
Did you see that GIF on Brendan Schaub's page of DJ Khaled? Is that how you say his name? Who's a big fella himself, climbing out of a golf cart with his shirt open. Like, let me show you this. I don't want to read the caption. See, my problem with sharing this is I want to know who the fuck made this because it's really funny. I wish I knew the dude to give him credit, you know?
It says it.
Oh, it says it there? The creator of the GIF?
No.
Can I see it?
Yeah. Put it up on there for him, Jamie.
Hold on.
Jamie's got might be a problem. Copyright issue.
Somebody else might have stole it from someone.
Somebody might have stole it from somebody else. You got to talk in the microphone. People are listening.
Yeah. Somebody else might have stole it from someone. I'll just put it up though.
Okay. Look at this. All the big men headed to brunch with their shirt open today after the Andy Ruiz win. He's bringing back guts.
Dude, that would be amazing.
And dude, he's super friendly. Like, really nice guy. Thanked his mom. He told his mom after the fight, you know, we don't have to suffer anymore.
We did.
It's just changed our lives. You know, it's beautiful. It's pretty.
I was crazy into boxing before I saw UFC 2. Once I saw UFC 2, I kind of just dropped boxing. But I was way into boxing, had stacks of Ring magazine all over my house. I wouldn't throw them away. I was way into it. And all we had as Mexicans in the heavyweight division was Alex Garcia. Remember him?
Yeah.
He broke the top 10.
Yeah.
He was up there for a little bit, but he just, you know, that's the closest we ever got. Unless there's been someone else since then. This was like 1990. I haven't followed boxing at all.
Well, that's why it was big for Mexican Americans when Cain Velasquez was the UFC heavyweight champ. That was the first ever Mexican heavyweight champ in combat sports.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah. It's weird, though, in MMA, people aren't racist in MMA really as much as boxing. They're really racist. Like boxing, I'm always going for the Mexican. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean?
We talked about this, but in MMA, you go for the jiu-jitsu guy.
I don't care what nationality you are in MMA.
Or I go for like if someone's fighting Melvin Manhoef, I don't necessarily want Melvin Manhoef to win, but I definitely want to see Melvin Manhoef go Melvin Manhoef on somebody. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, for sure. Oh yeah, watching
There's
guys
certain
that can,
guys-
watching guys that are known for their knockout power,
Yes.
and I like watching those guys too.
Even if they're fighting a jiu-jitsu guy, right?
I don't want them to win,
Well, that was why. Who was it? Was it Akiyama? No, it wasn't. Was it Akiyama? No, it was. Who was? Was it Yoshida? Who beat Melvin Manhoef and armbarred him?
I think it was Yoshida.
Was it Akiyama? I think it was Akiyama. I think Sexyama fought him with a gi on.
I don't remember.
Who fought Melvin Manhoef in Pride? See if it was Melvin Manhoef versus Akiyama. I wonder, man.
AKI.
Yeah, Sexyama. You could say Sexyama. Who killed him, Sexyama? Was it Schiavello? Michael Schiavello? Did he?
I don't know.
Who named him Sexyama? Oh no, he wasn't doing Pride, right?
He was in Japan, but I don't know if it was Dream or
No. Yeah, well, he does one now, and he was doing all the shit on
K1?
Access TV. He was doing a lot of shows with Pat Miletich. He's doing a lot of different things, but he also does a lot of Muay Thai too. Yoshihiro Akiyama.
Yeah,
it was
right.
Akiyama. You got him with a submission.
Heroes. Forgot about that one.
Oh wow,
That was
I
the
forgot about
K1
that.
promotion, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Wow. It's crazy how much this sport has changed in the time you and I have been watching it.
Yeah, dude.
From when you and I met in the 90s when we were doing jiu-jitsu and you were a purple belt.
Yeah, I didn't miss shit back then. I was on top of every goddamn MMA fight.
Yeah.
Now I'm just like, I'm lost.
There's so many promotions though now.
Yeah.
It's impossible.
So many UFCs, and it's hard to keep track.
And
Not enough time to keep track.
Everything's streaming. I love
And
it.
like, where is it on? Is it ESPN app? Like, how do I watch this?
Once you get it on though, once you figure it out, once you get it, it works. And once you get it and it works, it's
So everything
streaming's
is on
shit.
the ESPN app.
Yeah, so you can get it on your
Everything.
phone. And I sound like a shill for the company now. I'm gonna
Hey,
say,
you
well,
work for them. And
but I'm not. But I'm saying, like, for me, like, when I watch fights, it's pretty fucking easy. Once you get it hooked up. The problem is people that don't have their TV hooked up to the internet, which is quite a few fucking people. Then you got to watch it on a laptop. That's not ideal.
or your phone.
That's not ideal. I'll do it, though. But that's the good thing about it is I've done that. Like, I've been out. And I couldn't go to see a fight. I couldn't watch it while I was at home. But I had, like, an hour where I could sneak away and watch, like, the one main event.
Yeah.
And I get to watch it on my phone. I'll take
That's
that
huge.
all day. I'll
Yeah.
take that all day.
Yeah. What about, like, what's that function? Mirror? Is that what it is?
Oh,
Where
yeah,
you
yeah.
can-
Where you shoot it up to the TV from your phone. That's
yeah.
dope.
You could do that.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Yeah, if you have
Apple TV.
Apple TV or if you have Amazon, what is that, Fire Stick? Is that what it is, Jamie? Do you remember?
Yeah, Chromecast also.
Chromecast. And there's probably a few other ones you could probably do that with too. But they have like a USB slot, I think. And you just stick this thing in the USB slot and it'll am I saying that
Yeah,
correct?
but you don't even need it. Depending on when you bought your TV, it's
Right.
built into it now.
A lot
the,
of them.
The Chrome thing is. So.
Which is interesting, right? It's like, what if a new company comes along and they want to get built into that system? How do they, because when you get your TV, does your TV have like the option to get Netflix?
Mine does.
Yeah, it's like you don't need an Apple TV. It's like one of the options
Oh no
on the
no
TV.
no! On my TV, I have a
You have
my
it set up.
Yeah, I have an old
Yeah.
TV, dude. It's like I got it like in 2006 or something.
Damn, son,
Yeah.
you got to upgrade.
Yeah.
It's time to upgrade.
Hey,
kid.
it's still a flat TV.
Still
I don't know how
works.
like thin you need it.
I'm gonna go old school, and I'm gonna start riding a bike and getting a rounded TV. One of them fucked up TVs where they're dark in the corner,
big boxes.
big old box.
Bring
you
it
put
back.
stuff on it. Put stuff on it.
Totally, it's a shelf.
Dude, the first time I got a TV, I got it was a big ass TV. Like my first TV that I bought when I first got on television, it was like 30 inches or something like that. It's like, look at the size of this fucking TV. It was giant, like from here to here. I was like, that big. And I remember sitting this stupid
19-inch, right?
I remember sitting this stupid thing on the floor, and it had to be so far away from the wall because there was all this extra shit behind it. Mm-hmm. There was like tubes and stuff and bazookas. There was like it was wires and everything in this big box and fans and stuff. You remember bulbs? There would be bulbs in them. They'd have to change the bulbs and it'd make your TV brighter. Do you remember that?
Yeah. I don't really know the mechanics behind the TV. I just turn them on, and then when they
Dude.
break down, you kind of. They're so cheap nowadays too. TVs are crazy cheap.
It's crazy cheap. We were just talking about that out there. How much like a TV that 10 years ago would cost, and now it's like the same TV is like a couple $100.
Yeah.
10 years ago, it was like 10,000, 15,000. Like,
I remember when I first moved out, I had a little, everyone starts with their little black and white little boxes. You know what I mean? You put a clothes hanger in for the antenna. And the first TV I got was a 19-inch color TV. She was like $300. I saved forever for it. But, man, that was my pride and joy.
Yeah, man.
No remote.
Imagine living in the days before TV when they first invented it.
It was all radio.
It was radio
And
in the movie
plays.
theater.
Yeah.
The movie theater existed first, right? I'm not wrong in that, right?
Yeah.
How much after the movie theater did the television get invented? Like, what year was the
50s.
TV?
I think the 50s. That's when it came in.
The TV came in the 50s?
Yeah.
Bro, that's not that long ago. Think about how much dominates people's time.
Yeah.
First TV started appearing in homes in the late 20s, early 30s.
Oh, shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I think color is when that was like the 50s or so.
The late 20s.
Hold on. How many TVs had homes in the 50s? Only 9% of American households had TVs in the 50s.
1 out of 10 rich folks. Wow. Imagine just being alive back then when those things started happening and being some dude who thinks way, way ahead and looks at this and goes, whoa, where is this going to go?
People in 50 years are going to look back at this time and go, shit. Remember when people used to actually open their eyes? We're going to be like in some kind of Matrix
for sure.
type.
Remember when people
environment.
lived real life? They went outside. They lived real life.
Stupid.
Fucking dummies, man.
We're so lucky. We could live anywhere.
Yeah.
When VR gets so good that you actually can just live any life you want,
It's inevitable.
Yeah.
They're getting closer and closer to it. If you look at what we would have seen if we were a person living in 1920 when they turned on that first TV. I mean, what was that like? Those people were probably like in awe.
They probably thought, oh, now they can't lie to us on the radio. Now we got the truth in our living rooms. Now finally we got the truth. We get to see what's really going on in the world.
Please, bro. In the 1920s, you know what they thought? They were like, yes, give me something to look at.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you love to go back and talk to someone from the 20s
Like,
and
what do you
find
guys
out they're
do
naive?
all day? Like, what the fuck do you guys do? No, how boring was life back then? No
What
wonder
did
they were all
do?
into hopscotch and shit like that and jump rope.
Yeah.
After a while, that just seems like so much fun.
Yeah.
Reading books and shit. Remember
Riding
that?
horses.
Remember when people read books?
I rarely read. I get almost 90% of my reading I get done with audiobooks. 90%.
Yeah, that's way easier.
Yeah, it's great to do while running too. It does two things at the same time. It gives me some shit to think about that kind of like propels me while I'm running. The only thing I would worry about getting jacked.
What do you mean?
Getting cat by a cat.
Oh,
I do worry about that, man.
yeah.
I worry about that legitimately.
Yeah. I've been hiking more than ever lately, and sometimes we're on some trails where I have a rock ready to go.
I carry a knife.
It's a good
I
move.
carry a knife when I run.
It's a good move.
Yeah, it's not likely. It's not likely. People are like, oh my God, you're paranoid. 2 people were killed by mountain lions last year, and a kid got bit by a mountain lion just a couple days ago. Jamie, I'm getting over a cold, folks. If I sound snotty. But if 2 people got killed by werewolves, would you go out when the moon is full? You would like, fuck that. If 2 people in Seattle got killed by werewolves, when there's a full moon, you're going to lock your fucking doors.
Am I in Seattle when I go out? If it happened in Seattle, where am I? In Seattle?
Well, the guy who's the werewolf could have got on a plane and went to San Francisco. It's totally possible.
Yeah.
Right?
Or just walked.
But if you knew there was a real werewolf that was on the full moon, was possibly going to kill somebody. Mm-hmm. Sometimes he didn't. Mm-hmm. Sometimes the full moon comes and goes and nobody dies because everybody's smart. And they all stay indoors.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. You But
fucking...
the odds would be astronomical, just like Jaws.
Mm-hmm.
Like if you get dropped in the middle of the ocean, that
Look at this guy.
It'll take.
This guy has a fucking mountain lion in his... What is that? That's not a mountain lion. That's like that's a domestic cat.
Is that a bobcat? That looks like or a cougar. That looks like a...
No, that's a domestic cat. See those ears? It's like a really wild domestic cat. What is it called? See?
Scary as shit.
See, it hisses at him. The guy might be a dick. The guy doing that fucking with that cat might be a dick. He's trying to get it to hiss. I guess they have a good relationship.
It looks like those. What were those two? They look like that, like
damn,
yelling
those
at each other.
ears. Holy shit.
Bro, that is what kind of animal is that?
It's not a lynx, is it?
I don't know.
I don't know.
Too stupid.
The video doesn't say what it is.
I saw,
It's crazy.
I saw a lynx in real life once. It's crazy looking. They got these big, giant, fluffy feet. I saw them up in Alberta. Big, weird, crazy feet. Like almost like they're wearing shoes. Very strange looking cat. Like a big old furry cat in the woods in Canada. It's so strange, man. You look at it, you're like, what the fuck are you? You ever see a lynx?
Yeah, that's not what it was.
I'm not too sure what the difference between a lynx and a cougar is.
That's what I saw. I saw one of those motherfuckers. I was like, what is that?
Oh, they're fluffier.
Bro, they're super hairy because they're cats that's what it's like. That one with the long legs right there, Jamie? That's like exactly what I saw. And it was in the snow too, or it was not in the snow rather. It was in the forest floor, like green too. And they the feet are designed so that they can move quickly over snow. They almost act as snowshoes. Like so do wolves. Like wolves have big ass feet and they spread out. That's what it looked like. We were driving down the road and we saw that guy on the side of the road. And we were like, what is that? What the fuck? Weird. It's so weird to see one in real life. If you see it at the zoo, you wouldn't even look at it. You'd pass by that cage.
Yeah.
You'd be like, what the fuck is
Where's
that?
Where's the fucking tigers at?
Whack ass little cat.
And the crazy polar bears.
But if you see it in the woods, man, it's like the greatest thing you've ever seen in your life. You're like, wow, look at it. Look at it. Like a porcupine. If I see a porcupine and I'm driving, I'll stop my car. Like, look at that. Whoa. What
do they really shoot?
No, they don't shoot them.
They don't shoot
no,
shit?
they don't shoot them.
No. Do porcupines?
No, they don't shoot them. They don't shoot them. That's a myth. They just have barbs. So if you bite them, you get stuck up.
How crazy is that? Everyone thought that growing up. Like in the 80s, we thought that they shot you with thorns.
Kids fucking lie. They probably tell their dad, he shot him at me, Dad.
Probably in a cartoon or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's possible too, right? Like everybody thinks coyotes are stupid.
Yeah, like Jaws. Jaws pretty much scared 95% of the population out of the ocean.
Oh yeah,
out of the ocean.
Well,
when the
other
odds
guy just got jacked. You heard about that guy that just got jacked
by a great white?
Yeah, he got. Well, they don't know what kind of shark got him, but got bit in Maui. I think Maui. That's a lot of tiger sharks, right?
Yeah. Surfer.
No, I think it was a guy staying at a resort just swimming.
Died.
Dead as fuck.
They find his body?
They got him. I mean, they brought him back to the beach, but he had horrific wounds. He died.
God damn. Just happened?
Yeah, it just happened. Yeah, man. Sharks are no joke. It's a terrifying animal. And again, if there was a fucking werewolf running around the woods.
Exactly.
And a werewolf just killed a guy last week, would you go to the woods?
Yeah, it'd be just like Jaws. If they had it on the news, no one would go.
But the thing is that sharks are sharks 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. They don't only on full moons become sharks.
But what about guys that say that that's totally blown out of proportion?
They're right.
They swim with sharks. They get in the ocean with sharks.
They're right. They're right.
I think the great white is the only one that the divers, those crazy divers, don't get in the water with, right? But I think there was a lady that swam with a great white.
Yeah, there's pictures
like a
of
chick,
her.
Right?
We were looking at her Instagram page once, young Jamie. Do you remember that lady? Yeah, man.
Is it a trick? Like she
It's
knows
both things.
she knows if it's pregnant, you could go swim with it or something. Like those videos of babies playing with king cobras, and then you find out that they defang them.
Right.
So they can't hurt you at all.
They take away their venom sac too. I think if they have a thing, I might have made that up. What's
Yeah.
a venom sac? Is that a real thing? Is that
It's
real?
like a nut sack, but
It sounds like I made it up.
They have
What is
the
this?
shark tag Brunswick the shark. It's a 8-foot 9-inch white shark that's been just recently spotted yesterday or today, I guess, in outside of Ocean City, Maryland.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this is the way its Twitter account works. It speaks in the first person.
What? What if it kills somebody? I'm sorry, he was tasty. Are they still going to keep up the Twitter account if we know that shark killed somebody? I don't know. Look, if it gets hungry enough, all these assholes are overfishing the oceans. You overfish the fuck out of those oceans, eventually those sharks, they're going to turn on each other. That's what's happening with snakes in the Everglades. Do you know about that? Dude, you don't know about the Everglades?
Nope.
Anacondas and pythons and shit. Mostly pythons.
Because dudes had them as pets and then they let them
They
go.
let them go. Eddie, they're finding them now. They're 17, 18 feet long.
Anacondas or pythons?
Pythons.
Shit.
They're eating alligators. They did a study. They did
Is there
a study.
video of that?
Oh yeah. They have photos of it, and there's video. There's video. You can watch them eat an alligator
In Florida.
In Florida.
God damn.
Yeah, they're giant, and
Whoa.
they're infested. So they did a biological survey of the Everglades, and they were down like 99% in some animals, like deer, 99% marsh hare, like
Gone.
like 98%, 95% raccoons, that kind of shit. They don't see anything.
Are they killing people too?
Oh, they
Pythons?
will. They for sure. Some fucking rednecks have disappeared.
And they just don't talk
Guarantee.
about it.
I guarantee. I
We'll
guarantee.
just let that go.
If you wanted to get rid of somebody, man, take them to Python country.
Are they
Just
doing anything
swallow
to
your
control
ass.
the population of these snakes?
There's not much you can do. Have you ever seen the Everglades?
You can set up traps.
Dude,
Are you kidding?
Show Eddie
Them
Bravo.
hillbillies are
Young Jamie.
geniuses with that kind of shit.
Bro, there's too many of them.
Over
You don't know.
150,000
Of what?
snakes.
Yeah, there's over
the
150,000
Everglades?
pythons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How did they count?
They have rough estimates based on quadrants. So like what they'll do is they'll take like, and it's not 100% accurate unless they tag all of them, in which case they're assholes. They should have just killed them. But because they're an invasive species, for people who don't know, they're not from Florida at all. So they're just devastating the ecosystem, and they're turning on alligators. They're eating alligators now because they've basically run out of everything else to eat. It's a crazy fucking animal. So what they would do is they would take, I would guess, like a chunk of the Everglades, like 100 square yards or
Yeah,
something like
yeah.
that, and they'd measure
Kinda
the
guess,
amount, and then
yeah.
they would do another one. They would do it like several places, and then take an average, and then calculate all the square footage, and that's why there'd be pro or con.
You would think like hundreds of people would have been killed already.
No, because I don't think that many people, first of all, go in there, and I don't think they want to eat people. I think they probably don't know what the fuck a person is. Where they see a rabbit or some other shit, that probably looks like food. People are wearing clothes. I'm just guessing. I know they do jack people, though, overseas. There's been horrible videos of guys getting cut out of giant snakes. You never seen that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Some poor villager.
Yeah, a woman missing, and then they find the snake, and they go, "We found her." Like
Yeah.
they know they
Look
found
at this
her.
motherfucker. Bounty hunter kills gargantuan Burmese python, gets $375 and earns our undying gratitude. Look at the
Holy
size of
shit.
that thing, dude.
17.5 feet.
So these
What
things
part
are
of Florida? What like
the
Jacksonville or
the
something?
Everglades, wherever the Everglades
North
are.
of Miami.
The Everglades is a giant ass
On
swamp.
the Gulf side?
Middle. Like the both sides kind of depending. It's like a big swampland.
Show Eddie
Yeah,
an
sure.
overhead view of the Everglades, because the Everglades are fucking bananas. One thing that they found that was interesting.
It's like all that.
Yeah,
green
that
area.
Shit.
Yeah, so all that stuff is dense swamp. That's just monster soup. The tip of the dick of Florida is monster soup. That's what that is. You got some leaves. You got some basil.
You got some bees.
fucking snakes. You got some grass. You got some shit growing out of the ground. And you got fucking alligators and snakes in a aliens versus predator battle to the death down in Florida.
How would Joey describe the Everglades?
Listen, cocksucker. These fucking dirty white people with their stinky feet. Oh, you want a fucking snake? Oh, what do you want? I'm a Wiccan. Get the fuck out of here. The guy kicks his fucking kid out of the house. The kid can't feed the snake. Next thing you know, monster soup.
Shit.
I mean, it really is down to these two super predators battling it out to the death. And right now, I mean, I don't see any pictures of the alligators eating the pythons. Do we have video of alligators eating pythons?
Yeah.
So they're eating each other.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it's
Well,
just
that's good. At least
everybody's eating everybody.
I'm rooting
Jesus
for the
Christ, man!
alligator.
That thing's got a whole deer in its body.
Is this Florida?
Yeah. It's just the same article.
Jesus Christ, man! They can swallow a whole deer. That is so nuts. They're not even as wide as us. Imagine not being as wide as a person, and you could swallow a whole deer. It says it had a 35-pound white-tailed fawn in it. It was eating 111%? Oh, 11.1%.
No, 111%. It was
What?
a 31-pound snake eating a 35-pound deer.
Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Yeah, they don't give a fuck. They
I
just
didn't read
eat
that
it.
part.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. That is so ridiculous. Yeah, they can eat their whole body weight.
Yeah.
But did you ever see that? You've seen that. We've showed that video of the frog, was it a frog or a toad that ate the mouse?
Sure.
The mouse is bigger than him, bro. He just fucking eats it. I didn't know that toads did that. I had no idea. This video, there's like the little white mouse is in this cage, just like looking around with this frog, and this frog just like slowly comes closer to him, slowly comes closer, and then swap, just half his body. And you see this mouse trying to kick and get the fuck out of there, and the frog just like slowly just chokes him down. I had no idea.
Ate insects.
That's what I thought too. They figured it out. See, if people believe in evolution, right? I believe in evolution. If people believe in evolution, why do we think it stops with us? Why don't we think these goddamn frogs are going to take over? Maybe like one of the first signs of it was this Pepe the Frog controversy on the internet. Maybe it's shots fired, things to come. These frogs are going to start eating meat now.
The Trump frog?
Maybe these frogs are eating meat. That's what's going on.
How did that start?
Get smarter.
Pepe the Frog, was that around before Trump?
What is this, Jamie? Oh, I've seen this.
The frog has a snake in its mouth, and the snake's fucking attacking a cat.
Whoa.
Well, the cat comes over to swat the fucking snake. Cats are ruthless, bro. Cats are ruthless.
Yeah, it's just a compilation of frogs eating shit.
Well, there's one that's like super specific that I found on...
See how he used his hand?
That might
see how
be
he used his hand to stuff that worm?
Look at this one. Here's one. It's they're only showing part of it.
It's a bunch of shit.
Like, look how he gets that whole mouse in his mouth.
Damn.
This isn't even the same one, so there must be multiple videos of... I guess that's a toad. Is that a frog or a toad?
I honestly do not know the difference in that one, but
I think frogs are like green. Frogs live in water, right? And toads hang out in the grass, right?
I think they... When I was in Costa Rica, the first night I went with a bunch of friends, and they had this mansion, dude, right there in the jungle.
Oh, we talked about it. I remember this. Yeah.
And the first night, I doused my whole... I knew the bugs were going to come out. So when we got there, I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to get attacked by bugs. So I went to the neighborhood store and bought all their off and just use it like mousse all over my body. And we were sitting there as the sun set. We were at the pool. There was like 10 of us at the pool. And as the sun was setting, all these frogs just appeared out of nowhere. It was scary. And the guy that lived there said, trust me, don't be scared. They're going to be your friends. I'm like, what do you mean? He goes, trust me, we're going to need them. I go, for the bugs? He goes, yes. So when the sun went down, we're at a pool in this Jay-Z type mansion at a pool in the middle of the jungle. And there's all these frogs everywhere, and then the bugs started coming. You never saw the same bug twice. And it was like Braveheart, dude. All these frogs, you just see them attacking these bugs. It was like a war. It was crazy, and the bugs lost, dude. The bugs lost.
The frogs jacked the
dude,
bugs?
Dude, like those White Walkers, dude. They fucked them up, dude.
Wow, that's an amazing
It was very
video.
entertaining. It was very entertaining. We were just sitting there going, holy shit. Get those bugs. Fuck those bugs up.
Why doesn't someone make a documentary about that?
It's crazy.
The war. The daily war in the jungle.
When the bugs come out, fucking frogs eat.
Wow, bugs and frogs. What a weird place to choose to put a mansion. When I get you want to be able to scream and not get in trouble.
One thing I learned about that trip is there's the people that like that shit are the people that will they'll see a tarantula and pick it up and go and try to scare you with it and then they'll fucking eat it or whatever. Like you have to be one of those people people like me who are scared of bugs. I'm not a jungle guy. I'm a snow guy. I just went to Lake Tahoe. We went to Squaw Valley. That's my shit. Snow, too cold for any bugs. The jungle, if I never go to another jungle ever, I wouldn't give a shit. I had a horrible time the last time I was in a jungle.
Brian Callen had a similar story about when he was trying to be a bug scientist. What's that called?
Fuck a jungle.
He was trying to be?
Entomologist.
An entomologist. Yeah. And he was hanging out in the jungle with these people, and they had to put turpentine on the posts of the platform with the tent sat on.
For the ants?
Yeah, because the ants would be marching through the jungle. He said you could hear them walking. You could hear them.
Yeah.
You could hear the ants. There's so many of you could hear them.
Hey, fuck that.
Fuck
a jungle,
that.
dude.
Fuck a jungle. That's why if you have to choose between cold or unbearable heat,
I'd always choose cold.
Yeah. The thing about cold is it's like you can get warm. You know, when you're hot, you can't really get cool. It's hard. You can get cool in your house. But you could start a fire in your house and you just wear warm clothes outside. And you just live smart.
Yeah,
It's
no
like
bugs.
the challenges of. It's interesting when you look at like population in the world, because in this country, at least, not the world, but in this country, all the places where it gets really cold, population gets limited. Like it's only going to get so big. But when things are like sweet, real nice, like especially like LA, like woo, people just pile in. But I guess New York's the argument against that, because New York's.
Phoenix, though, it's the opposite. It's like super hot there, melts everybody.
Yeah, but people like to party down there. If you like to party, if you like to party, you go to Phoenix. Oh man, this is where I live. I live in Phoenix, open carry state. The fucking sheriff out pile makes everybody wear pink underwear and pink jumpsuits and shit. It's a crazy state.
I think if you look at where people live, I think generally speaking, white people like cold and darker people like the heat. It seems that way. Because if you look at the North Pole, if you look at the North Pole looking down on it, all the surrounding countries, they're all white.
Right, but you know why, right?
Because they want to be they be close to the North Pole.
Is that why? They want to be Santa's first stop?
Hey, it's supposedly a magical place, the North Pole.
Well, it's because they don't get any vitamin D up there because it's hot as fuck where they're from and sunny where they're from originally. And then as people migrated and got to these northern climates, their skin became paler and paler, like a solar panel for vitamin D. That's where you get it. You get it from the sun. So because they don't get much vitamin D, because there's no fucking sun out, it's cold as shit, and it's cloudy in England and Ireland and all these places where people are really, really white. It's fucking cloudy all the time, man. It's cold as fuck. So you're not getting that vitamin D. Plus your whole body's covered in fucking minks and animal skins and shit. That's why they're all white. They're all from the same thing. That's what's weird about it. But there's also some growing evidence that there was a whole gang of different kinds of people. They're finding these new Russian people called Denisovans. They found bones of them. So they think there was like maybe a bunch of other versions of human beings that we just lost in time. And then you're going to probably find it as people like get further and further into DNA testing. They'll find more and more different versions of people and people.
There's supposedly a lost empire in Russia called Tardia.
Ooh.
You ever heard about that?
No.
Yeah, it's supposedly erased from all history for different reasons. I don't really know that much about it, but it keeps popping up on YouTube. Like
if I was a juvenile, I would make a joke about the name of it.
Tardia?
Yeah, I would make a joke.
What would you say?
I'd say something terrible.
Like what? Tardia. Tardia. I can't think of anything.
Wonder why they didn't make it.
Okay.
That guy Graham Hancock who wrote that book. Did you ever listen to that podcast I did with him recently?
Not the recent one.
Dude, he was talking about the Amazon and that hidden civilizations that were at one point in time in the Amazon, then European settlers or European explorers rather came there and gave them smallpox, and it burned through the entire fucking population just like it burned through the Native Americans. Same deal, and just wiped out these huge cities. People just abandoned these huge cities. And he was saying that at one point in time they think as much as 20 million people were living in the Amazon. And then they had these really big established cities. So now they're using this stuff called LiDAR. It's like light, like laser, that they shoot from a fucking plane, and they make maps of the jungle.
They're finding cities.
They're finding
buried cities.
Dude, it's crazy. It's amazing to watch. Because the first European explorers, when they went to the Amazon, according to Graham Hancock in his book, which is called America Before, the first European explorers, when they came to the Amazon, they were like, oh my God, this is incredible. They have these massive cities and sophisticated culture, and they wrote back about it. Then when people came back hundreds of years later, everything was gone. It was all just engulfed by the jungle because all the people died off after the fucking European explorers came. So the European explorers came. They spread their diseases. They came, I don't know how many boats, over how much time. They wrote things about it, and then everybody fucking died. They died like a haunted curse. Like they brought a curse to a place, and then the jungle overcame the city and grew through the pillars of the floor and just took over. And now they're finding it through all this new sophisticated technology where they could scan through the trees and just get images of what the ground looks like. And then they take this image of the ground and you could see these grids, see buildings. It's
amazing
irrigations.
That they could survive in the jungle with all that fungus and bacteria and viruses and bugs and all that shit. But smallpox takes them out.
Smallpox jacked them. They weren't ready for it. They didn't have. Well, it was probably
How
not
did they
just
know-
smallpox.
how did
It was
they-
probably a gang of diseases that smallpox for sure killed a lot of people during that time period. So they assume it was smallpox, and smallpox most likely was one of the diseases. But I bet they gave them a bunch of other diseases too. These fucking people had no immune system for any of the shit the Europeans were running over there. And I bet the same thing would happen if someone from there went to Europe. I bet they have some weird parasites and weird shit that if they could somehow, I mean, I guess. You'd imagine like people that live in the jungle must be exposed to certain parasites or certain diseases or germs that they don't get in Europe either.
For sure.
Transferring them back and forth like that probably wouldn't know. Like if they went and visited like a giant ship full of Amazonians went to visit Europe, they probably would have given them some strange disease
Yeah,
too.
like, dude, can you imagine?
I wonder if those guys brought anything back. I wonder if they got anything from the Amazon people and brought it back.
Vaginal parasites.
How dare you? I can't believe you went there, man. That's
Imagine the
fucked
kind
up.
of sexual diseases they had in the Amazon
Oh,
that they were
yeah.
immune to, that Europeans were like just dying from.
Oh, the funk. Imagine what everybody smelled like, what their assholes must have smelled like.
Like coral growing on their dicks.
There's no deodorant. They probably didn't use soap, and you probably got used to it. You know, they say people are used to smells. That's why people that live in those towns where they have a factory and everything smells like chicken shit or something like that, those
Yeah.
people get used to it.
Or when
you drive
when you're
through
on the
it,
405 and you pass by that Budweiser plant,
Yeah.
it smells like, it has that weird.
like almost fried.
Well, yeah,
like
what is that
weird
shit?
fried food or something.
Yeah. Or
Yeah,
you-
like what is that?
And you drive into San Pedro and it smells like the sewer. You know, when you're on the 710 or the 110.
There's certain places. There's certain places where you like in New Jersey when I was a kid, I remember there was areas you'd go by that had factories. And you could see the fucking smoke coming out of the factory. They were just spewing it, and it would stink. The whole fucking city would stink. And if you lived there, you just had to accept that. You know, if you lived there, there's no fixing that. That's just what the town smelled like. That was your reality.
It's crazy. What do you think of 5G and all that scare? Do you think that's legit?
I'm terrified of all that shit.
Scary, huh?
Yeah, because
There's- dude.
how much long-term testing have they done? Zero or negative numbers? Are
Dude,
they
they're
paying
putting
people
up,
off?
They're putting them up. Is that what when I'm driving around with my family, my wife is obsessed with recognizing plates. She's always calling out Florida, Oregon. Her and my son, they got a little game they play. They're always looking at the plates. I'm always looking at cell phone towers and satellite dishes. I'm always like,
paranoia. Yeah.
all satellite dishes point to the southeast for some reason or other, and that's what I always check.
All of them?
They don't point to the north. In Southern California,
But that's
that is.
just DirecTV satellite.
That's all
'cause where
satellites. All satellites.
But every satellite dish,
it's pointing
you mean
to the
for
south.
Consumer satellite
Every
dishes?
satellite dish that I've seen, I'm obsessed with
Yeah,
them.
they're everywhere.
always they never point to the north. They're always
Right.
pointing southeast. All of them.
The great majority of satellite dishes that you see are probably like DirecTV or the
No,
other
yeah,
one,
for sure.
Dish.
Most of them, I've noticed all of them. But you go, it's crazy. I don't know why. But also those cell phone towers. I was on this website called smartmetersmurder.com.
Smart Meters Murder. Say that 10 times fast.
I was trying to remember it. Smartmetersmurder.com.
Smart Meters Murder.
Dude, you want to get your fucking head blown off? Go to that website and read the documents that they're pulling from different agencies, dude. Scary.
What are you talking about?
Scary.
That weed is kicking in, Sean.
You know what? You're gonna have to go check that shit
Okay.
out. But it's like on 5G. But back from their documents from government agencies
Right.
from 2001, July 2001. It was like this whole, I don't know how big, like 400-page plan for the world. It's a plan for the world. They're talking about
Who wrote this plan? The way you're holding that.
here.
While you do it, it is quite hilarious. It's the perfect, like if someone was talking about a conspiracy theory and they had a blunt and they were just like in the full bore conspiracy talk while they're holding the joint.
It's so scary, dude, that I don't even want to talk about it. Let's change the subject. You know, if you want to look into it, go to smartmeters.com, smartmetersmurder.com, but it's scary, dude.
I have
I don't
read-
even want to talk about it.
I have read things where people are questioning the like whether or not 5G is going to be healthy, but I haven't seen anything that verifies it is or it isn't. I haven't seen anything that says I need to look into it. But just in what I'm worried, all told, is that I really think that Wi-Fi signals all the various signals that surround us all the time. I think they have an effect on us, and I don't know what that effect is. I don't know if it's negative or positive. I don't know if it dulls the senses. It's entirely possible that it does something to dull the senses because it occupies an area. I mean, if we have the capability of recognizing the fact that there's these signals around us all the time, cellular signals, radio signals, satellite signals, we're surrounded constantly by signals. Are we absolutely sure that our body doesn't have the capacity to recognize those signals? Even though we don't have like a really clear method of taking those signals in and then translating them into visuals or into audio, but because we can't like take that Sirius satellite signal and then have like a player in our head. Because of that, we assume that we're not taking it in some way.
That's what this report is about. It's about.
But this is why I say this. This is why I say this. Because when I feel the least foggy is when I'm in the woods, when I'm in the mountains, when there's no cell phone service, there's no radio service, there's no Wi-Fi. There ain't shit up there.
It's weird how satellites don't work when someone's in the woods. But
no, satellites do work. You could actually
but not
get
in
a
the
dish.
woods, though.
No, in the woods. You get a dish you put on the roof of your car. You could watch TV. That's a new thing that Steve Rinella
don't our phones work on satellites?
No. The phones work on cell towers, but the GPS works on satellites.
Okay.
So your phone still works as a GPS unit when you're in the woods, even if you don't have any signal.
So
you can find your way out with a map. If your phone was on.
You know, there's people that say the GPS is also run by the towers too. They don't need to go into space. That you could triangulate your position from towers alone, but that's
well,
just
you
a
probably
conspiracy
could triangulate your position from towers, but you couldn't broadcast to such a gigantic area like you can with satellites. You can see satellites. The people that think that satellites aren't real, they need to talk to somebody who makes satellites. They're there. You can see them with telescopes. They're up there. We have the ability to tune in to the very specific spot in the sky with a direct TV, and you'll pick up the signal. That's how you get the signal. You tune to the spot in the sky where the satellite is, and you pick up the signal. They're real. People have a problem with fucking everything that's ever existed. Everything. Everything's fake. Everything's fake. People think that reality's fake.
Most of it is.
How many people think that we're living in a simulation? Really, really fucking smart people think it.
That's okay. That's
right.
okay. That isn't crazy.
Dude,
that's the craziest thing about all conspiracy theories. Like people that are not on that side. There's a conspiracy theory side, and then there's the people way on the other side. Those motherfuckers are totally into, man, we live in a computer. That is hilarious. That's not logical. That's illogical.
Well, the reason why they think that is because someday there's going to be a program.
But there's no proof, though. Hey, it may be true. It may be true. Maybe we do live in a computer.
Right.
But, dude, there's no evidence.
No, there's no evidence.
And in these conspiracy theories of if you look into each one individually, damn, maybe it's true, maybe it's not, but there's actual evidence. Is it enough evidence to prove it one way or another? Who knows? But don't talk shit on.
But it's not the same
on
people.
Like government conspiracy. It's, dude, I've never heard anybody like.
But it's easy to categorize people like that.
No,
the same people that believe this believe that.
But people, what I'm saying, okay, for sure, I haven't done any surveys. This is all based on the people that I come in contact with. Dude, I would say people, 80% of my students, they're not conspiracy theorists. They don't even think about it. They're just like regular people. They don't concern themselves with it.
Right.
And you know what I mean? They think it's amusing that I'm into it, but they're not into it.
That's hilarious.
You know what I mean? But those same people, when you say, dude, you know, Elon Musk says that we might live in a computer, and everyone's like, it may be true, but dude, there's zero evidence of that we live in a fucking computer.
What was the evidence?
Where's the evidence?
What did someone propose some sort of theory that proves that life is a hologram? What wasn't a hologram? That life is a simulation.
Someone proved that? Yeah. I'd like to see that. I
tried reading this book, The Holographic Universe, but I didn't get into it. Maybe I should revisit it.
I'm not saying it's not true. I'm just saying there's that.
No,
there's
I know.
No
but what I'm
evidence
saying
of
is
that.
it might not be the same fucking people that you're talking about that do or don't believe. But people definitely get rigid.
It's cool to believe that. You could talk to people like, Elon Musk said it. It's cool. It's like a cool thing.
Right.
Like, you could
like
be way on the left. You could be way, and just like, oh yeah, we might live in a computer, man. It's interesting. That's fascinating to me.
I think the reason why they say that is because one day we will, and we all know it. We all know it. we all know that one day you could be in something that's as ridiculous as what you're experiencing right now, and it could be a simulation.
Yes, but they believe
that's already happened.
Yeah, we're already in a computer.
They might not necessarily believe it, but they're entertaining the idea.
That's what the theory is.
Yeah,
we might be in a computer simulation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. We might be
key,
living in a computer simulation.
Yeah,
maybe. I'm not saying we don't. I'm just saying, dude, there's no evidence of that.
Right, but the key word's might. So to just explore an idea like, are we living in a simulation? It doesn't mean you believe it.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
that's what I'm talking about. That's like a conspiracy theory. That should be one of the. You should lump. It's logical to lump that in with all those like 9/11 conspiracies. Like 9/11, for instance, there's lots of evidence that it was an inside job, but that's a crazy conspiracy to most people. But if you look into it, there's science supports that it was an inside job.
But then science disputes that.
No, but
still
there's evidence.
Dispute it.
No, for sure. But there's evidence, right? I'm not saying whether it's true or not. I'm just saying.
I don't want to go into a 911 inside job conversation.
No, I'm just saying. I'm just using that. I'm just using that as an example. Like that's a crazy conspiracy theory. But there's a lot of evidence, whether it's true or not, who knows? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I think it was an inside job, but a lot of people don't, and whatever. But there's zero evidence of us living in a computer simulation.
Right, but we're not talking about the same people. They might not be the same people that believe one or the other.
They're different.
You're lumping them together.
No. I'm not. They're different people.
I mean, I know, but the people that don't want to believe that and don't want to look at the evidence, I'm saying, aren't necessarily the same exact people as the people that believe we're in a simulation.
You're right. There's no poll on it. I haven't taken a poll.
I know. You're just connecting it to 911. You wanted to talk about it, so you got us into it. That's.
Yeah, we don't want to talk about 9/11. I was just using that as an example.
I know what you're saying.
You know,
people believe weird shit. They definitely do. Like the people that really want to believe in Bigfoot, or the people that really want to believe in UFOs. Like UFOs are coming back right now. Everybody's talking about UFOs.
They're stronger than ever.
Bigger than ever.
Stronger than ever. That should tell you something.
Dave Foley's hooked. Dave Foley from News Radio. Remember Dave Foley? Hooked. We text each other almost exclusively about UFO evidence.
Dude.
You know me, dude.
I was the biggest.
What's this?
The New York Times a couple days ago.
Oh, dude. Wow. What is that? Navy pilots report unidentified flying objects. Here's the thing, though. We don't know what kind of shit the Chinese have figured out. We don't know what kind of shit the Russians have figured out. We assume that we know, but we didn't let them know about the stealth bomber or any of the crazy shit that they were building in Area 51. We didn't let them know.
Do you know me? I was balls deep into the UFO community, dude. The first tattoo I got is I got an alien on my left arm in Egyptian garb. I was into fucking ancient Egypt, the conspiracy side of the ancient Egypt. There's the mainstream Egyptology. I was into the look what Graham Hancock is saying, and UFOs. Mm-hmm. Balls deep.
That stuff's so fun.
There's so much proof in my head. There was so much proof that the government was trying to cover up. Look, why are they covering it up? Look at all these guys. Pilots from the Air Force are saying they saw UFOs. Pilots from the Navy are saying they saw UFOs. Dudes from the Pentagon. It's got to be true. That's a CIA pilot. He's saying it. So when you're balls deep and you really want to believe it, you look at it that way. You're like, look, there's all these government officials saying they saw UFOs and they got their own UFO story, you know. And then, you listen to Bill Cooper, and he was former Office of Naval Intelligence officer, and when you hear what he says, shit, he wrote that book, Behold the Pale White Horse.
But that guy said crazy shit. He said there's a base on the moon.
Not that guy. That's
Behold the Pale White Horse.
He said there's a base on the moon.
Yes.
No, he at first
didn't he?
At first. No, you're talking about.
I think he did.
Lear. You're talking about that guy.
No.
Bob Lazar's friend.
That guy's crazy too, right?
Totally.
What does that guy say?
He says that there's millions of people on each planet, and every planet has millions of people.
Is he the guy that owns Skinwalker Ranch?
I don't know, but he was a part of his dad owned Lear Jet.
Right.
I forget what his first name is.
Seems like a super rich troll.
Totally.
When he says the crazy shit he says, I'm like, this guy's having a good time fucking with people.
Yeah, totally. But Bill Cooper says that because his job was to prepare notes, top secret notes, classified shit, for meetings with high level people in the military, and he was, based on what he was reading, he was like, damn, UFOs are real. Look, I have proof. So that at first he was like, for sure UFOs are real and for sure they're hiding them. That's what he was saying. He was preaching that. Then he learned later. They let him whistleblow. He never got busted for whistleblowing. That they want him. They wanted him to leak that UFO. That's what his conclusion was. He started to realize, wait a minute, they want me to leak this. And then he got to the point where he believes that all UFO abductions, he believed that everything was a product of the government. All UFO sightings, abductions, they're taking you in. He believes it's like the CIA doing that shit. Wow. And that's what he was really about before. Well, and then he got killed. He got murdered, man. They went up to his ranch and fucked him up.
If they wanted to really fuck with you, this is what I think they would do. First of all, they would put acid on your shit. They'd put acid on your doorknob or something like that. Because there was a dude who found something. I forget what he found. Some old thing. And as he was opening it up, he just by touching it, it was like some old thing. It was dipped in acid, and he went on an acid trip for like 6 hours. So this is what they do. They dose you up. They somehow or another dose you up. Whether touching a doorknob. Did you find the guy? It's a real recent story.
It's a guy that was cleaning a board like this, a soundboard.
That's what it was.
He touched it.
That's what it was.
He was like telling his girlfriend, he's like, I think I'm fucking high.
Yes.
And they ended up testing, and it was.
That's exactly the story. Yeah. That's exactly the story. So they could do that to you and then sneak up on you with some special effects. Wear some fucking crazy mask and fucking flash you with lights, and you're so crazy high, you don't know what the fuck's going on. They grab you and put you on a desk and tell you you've been abducted by aliens from another planet. You don't think they fucked with people and did stuff like that?
They do for a fact. Have you seen the documentary Abducted in Plain Sight?
No, I have not. Which one's that?
Dude,
what's that about?
That's exact. It's
Is that about UFOs?
Well, it's sort of. This guy, he was married, had a couple kids. He was tight with the family who had 3 daughters. He was a predator. So he targeted the 12-year-old, and what he did is he fucked with the mom, fucked with the dad,
He had sex with the dad.
Sexual relations.
Fuck the dad, not fuck with him.
The dad jerked him off.
Oh, Jesus.
They talk about this
on
the pod.
The guy just jerked him off?
The guy jerked him off. He convinced the guy to jerk him off.
How weird.
So he wanted blackmail on the parents, right?
Right.
So that once he took the daughter, they couldn't say shit.
And that's the blackmail because he jerked them off?
And he fucked with the mother too, and it was a secret. So of course that guy doesn't want none of that shit.
So he lets the guy take his kid?
He has to take the daughter horseback riding. So, and they were like, okay. So he takes the daughter horseback riding, and what he does is he starts telling her that there's all these alien abductions going on, and we got to be careful for aliens. She's 12 years old. So he's setting her up. So what he does, he drugs her. She wakes up. She's strapped to a table. He's got a speaker with alien voices coming out, and the alien, and she wakes up. She doesn't know where she's at. She's like, oh my God. And this alien voice says that she is responsible for saving the earth. She has to marry that dude.
Oh my God.
She has to marry the dude. In the alien voice, you have to marry Bob, and you have to have this, but you can't tell nobody.
What kind of drugs?
I don't know. And then she passes out again, and she wakes up, and she's not strapped. She's looking around the trailer, and she sees the guy. He's pretending he's all fucked up, and she's like waking him up, and he's like, has fake blood on him or whatever. And then he wakes up, and then she tells him, we've been abducted by aliens, and I need to have your child.
Oh my God.
He tricked her.
Oh my
so from
God.
the age of 12 to 16, he owned her, dude. They end up catching him with the girl like a week later. FBI gets involved, and the girl can't tell anybody or everyone dies. So she's obsessed. Now she's back with her family. The guy's in jail for like a day because you know what he does? He has his lawyers send letters to the mother and father saying to make them sign like that it was consensual.
What?
He threatened the blackmail. So they signed it and let him out. They signed and they let him out. And then he goes to like the next state over. But that chick, she's 12, 13, 14, and she's obsessed with him. She has to save the world. So that's an example of, and then it turns out that I think the guy was CIA probably, and he knew those techniques. That's how they get people. They fill him up, say there's all these alien abductions, get them all scared, and then boom, when they do it, they believe it.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so that's just MK Ultra shit, dude. She got MK Ultra.
I guarantee they did that to people who are like political enemies.
Fuck
I guarantee
yeah.
you. Why wouldn't they do that?
It's easy.
Huh.
It's easy.
It just seems like something they would do too. Just seems like it makes sense.
And then Bill Cooper said that the mutilated cattle
Cattles?
thing that
Yeah.
people were saying, oh, UFOs are taking them because they're, the organs were taken out so surgically that we don't have the. But what Bill Cooper, he got balls deep into that. He started getting into breaking down what's really happening with UFOs. He's going, oh shit. The government is pretending to cover it up. They want to push it. They want people to believe in aliens.
So what do you think that the cattle mutilations were? You think they were testing weapons on these cattle?
Bill Cooper said it was really simple. All the cattle were found by military bases, and what they do is they're constantly checking radiation levels around bases constantly. So what they do is if there's cows, they'll routinely take a cow, take out its rectum, take out like certain organs surgically, and then they dump them just to scare people. Just let them. It'll kill two birds with one stone. They really needed to get some radiation tests, but it's always good. It's always good to push UFOs.
Yeah.
It's always good to scare people with aliens.
I wonder if those cattle abductions, if they coincided with areas where there was like some sort of toxic dump. You know, there's something like ammunition dump or something like that. Like anything where some kind of like, do they have more of them around Nevada where they did all those nuclear tests?
I'm not sure, but the gist of what Bill Cooper said was they were all
sense.
found near military bases, and once he looked into it, he's like, oh, I know what they're doing. They're checking radiation levels, and they're scaring people at the same time.
That makes sense because it was surgically removed, right? Like people can do that. Like why would that eliminate the possibility that people could do it? Of course people could do it.
But people are like, dude, only aliens could do that.
And then they take it and then they move it to another place so that the blood is not in the spot where they find the animal.
Yeah.
That's all it is.
Dude, I'm a crazy...
That's how they catch poachers, you know? Do you know that?
How?
They catch poachers that way sometimes. They find out where the gut pile is. It's like, say if you didn't really have a tag to shoot a deer and then you shot a deer in another place where you're not supposed to be, but you have a tag at a different place, because there's some places where it's easier to get tags, you just take the deer out of the forbidden place, take a picture of it or something like that, and then go back home. Well, they busted people because they, like, park rangers recognize certain mountain peaks. And they're like, no, you weren't there. I know exactly where you were when you killed this deer. You were at a different place. And then they go to that different place, and they look at the picture, and they try to coordinate, and then they find the gut pile, and then they convict people of poaching. That's happened before. They look at the photos. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
that's what Bill Cooper
that
believes.
makes sense that they would do that.
Yeah.
That they would because if you think you took that animal and killed it and cut it and left this big bloody pot and then put it in a truck and then dragged it 10 miles away and dropped it off there, people be like, this is crazy. There's no blood at the scene of the crime. All the blood's missing. It's been surgically removed. Like, no one can do this. This is impossible.
It's aliens.
There's literally no blood on the ground. Yeah, because they put it there, you fuck. You fuckwit. You think aliens came this far to fuck with cows? Imagine if we went all the way up to like Neptune to shoot gophers. We're just going to go up there and fuck up your gophers. go to your Neptune gophers, just jack them, cut their dicks off, throw them back.
That's funny, man.
That's exactly what they thought aliens did. That is hilarious. Cattle mutilations are fucking hilarious in that regard.
Yeah.
You know, it's gross too, though, that they did it so many times that it became a thing that people looked for. And then they let all these people who believe in aliens anyway, they let all these people just stew
because they're
in
trying
that
to scare us. They're trying to scare us with aliens for sure. Maybe that's what Bigfoot's about. Dude. Maybe Bigfoot was about, dude. Let's create this mythical monster and have people afraid. They don't want people to move in the woods.
The thing about that,
that's not good. That's not good for the NWO,
right?
The New World Order. They want people to go into cities, so they create these Bigfoots. Hey, if they're not doing it, they should do it. Create another Bigfoot. That's
so ridiculous. That's the most ridiculous reason for believing in Bigfoot I've ever heard. That's so funny. Bigfoot's been around forever, though, dude. They talked about it in
the CIA's been around forever.
Oh, man, they were in the Native American culture before.
Dude, I bet the Nazis did that too. I bet the Nazis I bet if you go to Germany, they have these mythical creatures that they created to scare people out of the woods. If they're not doing that, not doing that, damn, they got to give me credit if they start doing it. Because that's a good Illuminati move right there, right?
That's how crazy deep you have to be if you're a conspiracy theorist. If you go so deep, you think that the CIA was in the Native Americans before Columbus landed. You go, bro, you don't even understand. It had a different name. It was a secret Native American organization, and they taught the Europeans.
Maybe the CIA of the Apache, because you know they had to have some evil elites that lied to their people, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they wanted to keep their tribes together, so they said, they created these monsters that you can't go out there. We're going to protect you. You got to stay here. Wouldn't that be a good move for?
That's probably exactly what happened,
right? And they got these crazy stories of these monsters.
Yeah, man.
You got to stay here. We'll
Native
protect
American
you.
CIA. Yeah, Native American CIA.
Maybe that's just building empires 101. You scare them with aliens. We got a threat from up here, so we need to protect you. And then we got threats down here, too. Jaws. Maybe Jaws is a CIA movie. Let's keep people out the ocean. We got to keep them in the cities.
It's all CIA, bro.
Everything.
The CIA is all powerful. Imagine if they just worked for good. If instead of trying to infiltrate the Native American community.
I'm sure most of the people in the CIA are really legitimately trying to stop communism. It's just like a few key
cowboys.
Yes,
cowboys.
Yeah,
and anything. And cops, right? When you hear about corrupt cops, that doesn't mean all cops are corrupt. But did you ever see that documentary on New York, the 7-5? Mike Dowd. He'd been a guest on Joey's podcast, my podcast. He was a corrupt cop.
And shit.
Like, deeply corrupt.
That means he murdered people.
No. We got up to that. According to him, he's never going to tell you he murdered people if he didn't get caught for it. But he went to jail. And he says he did, and I believe him, just to clarify. But, dealt with drug dealers. And, was driving around in a Corvette and shit, like living like a baller.
That's scary.
They were all selling drugs. And they caught him, and, they put him in jail for a long time. And then they put out this fucking amazing documentary. It's called The 7-5. It's so
What does he
good.
talk about?
Everything. He spills the beans about getting involved with all these drug dealers and, rolling these people over, taking their money, and then going to business with them. It's crazy.
Scary.
It is a crazy documentary. You get anxiety. Even though you know the guy's still alive, while they're telling the stories, you're like, Jesus Christ, they were just doing blow and going crazy and robbing people, just straight robbing people, showing up at people's houses, putting guns to their heads, robbing of their drug money. It was nuts, man. Like there was hits out on them. It was crazy. It's crazy. It's a crazy documentary. But this is like there's a guy who I don't know who the current guest is on Sam Harris's podcast. I'll look at that up in a second. But he was talking about it. They're talking about like absolute power, and absolute power. There's that old expression: absolute power corrupts absolutely. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. And what they were talking about today, and when I was walking the dog, I was listening to this. They were saying, no, what it does is it exposes you more than it corrupts you. Exposes corruption, and they gave some examples about like Richard Nixon, like that Richard Nixon when he was young, his professor told him not to be a lawyer because he has like really shitty ethics. Like it exposed him when he became president, and that's when the power got to him. And that's an interesting subject. Like, what does it like? Why does someone become a out of control corrupt cop? Well, it exposes them. It exposes something in them. But in his case, what he was saying was the whole department was corrupt. When he got in there, they were corrupt. People were corrupt the day he got on the job. People were telling him what to talk about, what not to talk about, and they beat some guy up or something like that. And he's like, this never happened. Like they have these little. What do they call it? What is that expression they have for cops keeping their mouth shut? What the fuck is that? There's an expression. There's like a code. It's not just called the code of. It's like it almost has like a
snitches need stitches.
Something along those lines. Code of. Maybe I'm thinking of a Chuck Norris movie. Code of silence. But when you got the power to just rob drug dealers, and you're a young guy who's doing coke. You're going to go crazy. He's a really nice guy, though.
Google will literally returns police officer, code of silence.
Code of silence.
So
Chuck Norris movie. There was a Chuck Norris movie, right? It was a good one. Back when Chuck was doing those cop movies. I loved that shit when I was a kid.
Blue Wall of Silence, maybe? I don't know.
Code of Silence?
All of that's coming up as I just kind of
I think Code of Silence is the name of the Chuck Norris movie. Pretty sure. But, yeah, man, just like there's corrupt cops, most cops aren't corrupt. I think that's the case with agents, with fucking anybody, And that's just how it goes, man.
I have a bunch of cop friends. They're all
Jamie
cool.
just made a mad dash. You notice that? That's what I would call it. Diarrhea dash. Yep. running into that can.
I know there's cops out there that, are probably a couple of them out there fucking people up and maybe a few.
Sure.
For sure. But the cops I know, the cops that I come in contact with, they've always been cool to me.
Yes.
Always been cool to me.
Well, also, too, they're not pulling you over. They're also into martial arts. You're a famous martial artist. And a lot of times you're training or learning from them, or we're talking to them at UFC events and stuff
they know
like
Lou Salcida.
Yeah.
They know
right,
Big
right.
John McCarthy.
Yep.
Yeah, it's like...
Great guys. I'm super pro cop, but I know that there's bad people in every fucking line of work. It doesn't mean cops are bad. It doesn't. Cops, it's a terrible fucking job. The problem is when someone does do something bad, man, it changes everybody's opinion about what cops are. Like there's 2 videos I saw last week of cops pulling people over with guns drawn, pointed in the car. One was a Mexican family, a guy and his girl, and one was a black family, a guy and his girl. And it's the same thing. The guy's driving, and the cop has his gun out, pointed at them, and he's telling this black kid to shut off his car, and he's like, I'm not going to do that. He's like, I'm not moving my hands. He goes, you give you an excuse to shoot me. I'm not moving my hands. So his girl's filming it, and he's got his hands up. And it's crazy to watch, man. I don't know what happened before that. I don't know what the context was. I don't know. I have no idea. All I know is this guy's got a gun pointed at this guy, and the guy's not threatening him. He's not, and he's telling him to shut off the car, and the guy's scared to shut off the car. Because there are videos of a cop telling a guy, pull over. The guy, he goes, let me see your license registration, and he reaches back to get his wallet, and the cop shoots him. There's video of that. You can see that.
But what about...
That's just people is my point. But I got to clarify.
You got to know the whole story.
Right. You got to know the whole story.
Maybe they ran his plates and they go, oh, shit, we got a hot one.
Sometimes I'm sure that's the case.
You never know.
Sometimes I'm sure that's the case.
Yeah.
But with this video, that wasn't, nobody provided that information in that video. You're just seeing a guy pointing a gun at a guy, and I don't think he has his, he just has his hands up. Look, it's a fucking, we've talked about this 100 times. It's a hard goddamn job. You're pulling people over. You never know who's going to shoot you. You want to go home to your wife and family, and every fucking day you're pulling people over that are lying to you. Every day you're dealing with people that are breaking the law, and they're not happy to see you every day. And I think that's where that absolute power, corrupting, comes in. Corrupts some fucking people. There's some dirty birds out there. I think in the future, though, man, you're going to see less and less of it. I think it was probably 100% of the way things ran, like many, many years ago. And now it's way less because there's way more transparency. You know that Cocaine Cowboys documentary. You've seen that. Billy Corben stuff?
Yes.
You know how the class of the graduating class of the police academy in Miami one year, 100% of them either were murdered or went to jail for corruption.
Yeah.
The whole class.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's crazy. But that's what happens when places go sideways. When things go so nutty.
Yeah. It was crazy, like the Scarface days.
Yeah.
This is how crazy I am. If someone told me, dude, the CIA produced Scarface to distract from their drug running, I would just need a YouTube link. You know what I mean?
Well, the CIA, even if they didn't produce it, if some cowboys in the CIA were selling drugs, even if they didn't produce Scarface, they certainly benefited from it somewhat because it made drug smuggling for all the drug smugglers.
They were all Cuban. They were all Mexican. But
it made it.
That was the problem.
There was some guys. What was that guy?
Well, didn't Barry Seal bring in over 5 billion tons or 500 billion or $5 billion or something like that? A big billion of drug money in the 80s.
Did you see the Tom Cruise movie on him?
Yeah, isn't that what it was about?
Very good. Yeah,
it was about that, right?
Yeah. That's about Barry. It's about Barry Seal.
Yeah.
Yeah. What is that movie called? The Tom Cruise
American Made.
American Made. That's a fucking excellent movie. That's an excellent movie. And for people who don't know how all that shit went down, you watch that movie, I don't know how historically accurate it was.
Does it involve the CIA too?
Oh, yeah.
They talk about that?
Oh, yeah.
How'd they let that happen?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And they essentially talk about exactly how we just talked about it. Cowboys and the CIA and how many people were making money. On the sneak tip, son. Bringing in that cocaine. Bringing in that yayo. I don't know if it had in the murders of the 2 kids, though. Because that's really how they got busted. They got busted because they were dropping off coke out of these planes, and 2 kids saw the drop-off, and they found the 2 kids near the coke, and they fucking murdered them. And then they put them on train tracks and said they got high and fell asleep on train tracks. Families did an autopsy and found knife wounds on the kid. They knew something was up, and then they investigated, and slowly but surely the pieces started to fall apart. And then when Barry Seal was murdered, he had George Bush's phone number in his pocket when he was murdered.
Is that in the movie too?
I don't know. I don't know if that was in the movie, but that's what happened. On his way to testify. I mean, they weren't even hiding it. They just let this guy get shot up on the way to testify. He, for sure, brought in what I would call a fuckload of coke.
Who?
Barry Seal. For sure. A fuckload.
Who is his boss, you think?
That's a good question.
It was in Arkansas, right?
Somebody probably got a taste, at many different stages, right?
Was the coke coming in Arkansas?
Yes.
Mena, right?
Mena, Arkansas.
Was that real? Was that in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Tom Cruise made a movie about Mena, Arkansas?
Bro, it's a good movie. I don't know.
It's hard for me to watch any movies unless it's an animated movie for my kid. Like going to a regular movie, can't do it.
I know, it's hard.
Can't do it.
I like them at home. Well, Google this. We probably have a lot that we just covered that needs to be Googled.
I'm looking up the website about the accuracy of the movie.
Oh, good. Perfect. That's what I was going to ask, too.
And who decides what's accurate or not?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. And they let him go.
Snopes.
And certain times they caught him, they let him go, and people didn't want to let him go. It was like a crazy documentary or a crazy movie. What do they call that? A docudrama? What is it when someone makes a movie about? It's not really a docudrama though. It's not. It's a fucking movie. It's like you
never know how much is true.
Well, we were talking about that goddamn wrestling movie with Steve Carell. With the Mark Hamill movie or Mark Schultz movie.
Oh yeah, the Gary Goodrich.
Dave and Mark
thing.
Schultz.
Yeah,
the Gary Goodrich thing where they replaced him with some Russian dude in the movie. That's a historical event.
Yeah.
When Gary Goodrich fought Mark Schultz, that was a historical event. Mark Schultz dominated one of the best guys in the sport easily, just wrestled him to the ground with ease. And we got a chance to see, wow, this is what happens when an Olympic gold medalist wrestles a regular martial artist. But in the movie, they decided to just change that for no reason. Like, they could do that with anything. So who the fuck knows?
Well, the Bruce Lee movie with Jason Scott Lee,
yeah.
Man, that was filled with a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, they just made shit up.
He had a famous fight where he learned Wing Chun doesn't really work on Americans.
Yeah.
It was in a YMCA. He was fighting for the right to teach foreigners Kung Fu because the elders that lived in San Francisco or Seattle, I forget, I think it was San Francisco, they didn't want him to teach foreigners, and they said, if you beat our guy up, then we'll let you teach foreigners. So he had this fight. It was in the YMCA, but in the actual movie, it's in a fucking dungeon, dude. It's like a cave. It's a cave, and the elders are sitting up like Lord of the Rings. It's like Lord of the fucking Rings.
That's right.
It's the craziest thing. They didn't have to go that far, but I guess it was just a YMCA.
Did he win the fight?
Yes, and
but he didn't use Kung Fu?
In real life, he had he hurt his back doing squats or doing deadlifts. It was really bad. He hurt his. So that's when he wrote his first book. Is when he was like in traction. Is that what they call it? When your back's in some kind of spinal or some kind of brace. But but in the movie, the dude kicked him in the back and broke his back.
Tricky.
Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah. And then there's a famous appearance of his at the Long Beach Convention Center back in the 60s. It was like a karate tournament, and he did some demonstrations. He did there's famous video of him doing the 1-inch punch. It's in front of, it's like at an IBJJF tournament. He's doing a demonstration. And in the movie, it was a real fight. And he fights the same dude from the dungeon. It's a rematch.
Oh, no. They made that up? They added all that?
Dude. So, like, what the fuck are you guys thinking?
Why would they do that?
They didn't need to. His life was amazing in reality.
Aren't they doing something on him right now, though? Isn't something happening right now? Some new Bruce Lee thing? Did I read that? Or am I just hoping?
There's a movie coming out about a dude who was a famous actor in the late 60s and early 70s. And in the movie, he's a stuntman. Yeah, he's a famous, rich stuntman dude. And in the movie, there's a Bruce Lee part where he's in a Bruce Lee movie. And also...
It's a new Quentin Tarantino movie called Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. He shows
That's
up
it.
as like
Oh, Bruce Lee's in there?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
But it's not... Is it CGI Bruce Lee?
No,
or
it's
is
an
it
actor. It's an actor.
They should have went with the CGI Bruce Lee.
Oh, yeah.
How cool would that
Good call.
be? Make a new Bruce Lee movie, all CGI. They could do that shit.
Here's
Imagine
the thing,
that.
bro. The Illuminati doesn't want you to know how good they are at that yet.
Okay, so if the Illuminati created Bruce Lee, what would be the reason?
Well, they would, if they did it, they would let you know, hey, fuckface, we already can make movies out of anybody anytime we want. We could have someone talk like Bruce Lee. Look at that.
Wait a minute, that looks like Bruce Lee, dude.
That guy looks very good.
Was that CGI?
No, it doesn't look like him right there. I mean, it's close enough. Is that the new Bruce Lee?
This is just this is from the trailer, so that's the only piece we can get.
Oh, you know what? That's CGI.
No,
okay.
no, it's not CGI.
No, for sure it's CGI. That first clip.
That guy right there?
That first clip. That one right there, CGI.
No, it's glasses, Eddie. He's wearing glasses.
Look at his face.
He's wearing glasses.
It looks fake as fuck. It looks like a CGI video game.
Oh, you think
it?
like they did something to his jaw?
It looks like a CGI face.
No, he has an
right
unusual
there, that looks
jaw.
real.
But that's because you're seeing him at a different angle. Back it up to where he's at the side.
What if they're doing that fakening? To me,
hold on.
To me, that looks.
Jesus
got
Christ,
a very
Eddie.
defined jaw.
Look at his jaw.
Yeah,
he's got a very defined jaw.
Everything's fake, dude.
I know. You got to stop that.
Everything.
You got to stop. It's exhausting.
They could have though if they wanted to, like they did in the Fast and the Furious with Paul Walker.
Right.
They recreated his face a lot.
Well,
they need to do a Bruce Lee movie.
They can't have it fucked up at all. It has to be super smooth. It has to be really Bruce Lee-esque.
Totally. And you know what? You could do it like that movie. Man, this was like 20 years ago, the Final Fantasy movie where they did animation, but they tried to make it look real.
Yeah.
Old people, they got that shit down. They got old people down. Hard to make a young girl look real. So that kind of had still a cartoon effect. But older people, shit, look like real people.
Yeah. They can do it with textured skins, right? Like, they can do it with dragons.
And that was 20 years ago. Mm-hmm. They could do movies that are full CGI that's really hard to tell.
Well, it's also because your brain doesn't have like a reference point for dragons. They can make a dragon look real. Whereas like did you see Game of Thrones where they have the wolves?
Yeah.
The wolves are always just like,
The hair move, they don't have the hair down. They're like 5 years away from hair.
Yeah, it moves too CGI.
It's super slow-mo.
Yeah.
Like it's always super slow-mo.
That is him that popped up here on this video. His name's Michael Moe.
That's the dude.
Yeah.
So when you see him with the glasses and see him from the side, he should that's interesting. I don't know if they could do the CGI yet for a whole movie and make him with Bruce Lee's face. They could do it perfect. Yeah. Wow, that's crazy. So they could have done that. But then again, if everybody else in the movie isn't like Steve McQueen and all the other famous folks in the movie, like are they using different people for them? Or that would be fucked up. Imagine if in the future, all they ever make is like Charles Bronson movies, Steve McQueen movies, Bruce Lee movies, and they do it with regular actors, and the regular actors get paid like scale. And these are giant ass.
And they do
fakening
on them.
They do fakening on them. And they have new Bruce Lee movies. And they have some dude.
That would be a lot cheaper just doing the face.
How Rogue
They added Princess Leia back in, and she's not even alive anymore.
I didn't see the new one.
Yeah.
Is that
well, there you go. That's the future.
Wait a minute. Maybe I did. Is that the ones with the...
Yeah.
Oh, they're doing it now.
She's in the more recent one that just came out, and the one before that too, I guess.
I think I saw the most... Was the most recent...
I don't know. There's too many of them.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah.
I think I'm one behind. I think. I haven't seen the new Avengers. I've managed to avoid all spoilers.
How about when they start doing like they'll take Angelina Lee's face and
Angelina
put it on
Jolie
and put it on like Beyonce's body or something.
You remember that song? She got big old titty like Angelina Jolie. Remember that song?
Yeah.
Do you remember that song?
That's a great song.
That was a big hit for like a couple
People
of weeks.
People forgot about that.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie got some big ass titties.
That was the song. That was the whole. It was like different people that had some big ass titties. That was the name of the song. She's in that new Maleficent movie. They did some crazy shit to her face, man. They turned her into some like dragon lady, some wizard lady or witch lady.
Yeah, there's a lot of Satanism in movies, man. Ooh, they go dark with the. Do you trip out? I know. We have different opinions on like what Satan is up there. Like
what?
The sky and space. But do you notice watching kids programming that they fucking bombard kids with space, right?
Sure,
dude. They get hammered with it in every movie. There's space, there's aliens, there's space, there's aliens.
Well, not every movie, but a lot of movies, yeah.
It's crazy. It's insane. They blast them with it.
Well, there's a lot above us. If you look up, see forever.
But it's important for kids, though. Totally.
It's important, period, man. I went to see Brian Cox's demonstration that he did. They do a show. They did it in downtown LA, and I was thinking I would love to get Eddie Bravo high and have him watch this like a fight companion. Is this CGI? Is this fake?
Yeah.
Why do you think it's fake? How much do you think is fake that you see in space?
Man, You know, Werner von Braun was a Nazi, right?
Yes.
Okay. He was brought in from Operation Paperclip, right?
Right. We had Annie Jacobson on. Did you listen to that?
Yeah. Yeah.
She talked in depth about that.
I mean, that's all. Everyone agrees on that.
Yep.
Everyone agrees that he directed all 6 moon missions.
Yep.
Everyone agrees. Everyone agrees that him and Walt Disney were best friends.
Were they best friends?
Yep. They were best friends. They worked on space together. They were like, jumping to a lot of conclusions.
But today, in this day and age, you don't think anybody's like when SpaceX shoots rockets off into space, or when Amazon has a rocket company now, these guys are going to be able to launch satellites and even have consumer flights.
I just need proof, man.
What about
I see a lot of
flight?
deception. I see a
In
lot
the
of
future,
deception.
would you be willing?
Deception everywhere. So I'm like,
okay.
When you're talking about that Foxcatcher movie, hold on. You're talking about that
Yes.
Foxcatcher movie. You're like, you've said it a couple times on your podcast where you're like, once you saw that they left Gary Goodridge out, you were like, I can't trust this movie.
Right.
I can't. The whole movie's. I can't trust it. It may be real. It may not be real. But I need some proof.
I got you.
That's exactly how I feel about.
Space.
No, not space. The government.
The government.
So
For
anything
everything.
coming
Anything
from a
coming
government
the
agency, whatever, it's a government agency, I look at it like Foxcatcher. You've lied enough where I'm like, I need some irrefutable evidence. Otherwise, why do I have to believe it? I just assume it ain't real. I
get it, but SpaceX isn't the government. SpaceX
yes, they
is a
are.
private company.
Yeah, no, they're subsidized by the government, man.
Oh, they're subsidized?
They do. They got like $4 billion from
So
the
they tell
government.
them to fake space?
No one's trusting NASA no more, so they're handing it over. Hey, let's do this side thing, and everyone's all into space now.
That's an interesting way to look at it.
I think it's when you saw that Tesla launch. You saw that?
What are you talking about?
When he
the-
claimed to launch a
the
Tesla,
Roadster into
that Roadster.
space?
Did you see that footage?
The actual Tesla in space?
Yes.
Yes, I saw that.
And you have I've always known you as a dude who had a strong, vibrant bullshit meter. You've always been that guy. You're going to watch that evidence and go,
okay.
You can't just buy that, dude. You can't just buy that,
Well,
dude.
let me
It's
see it.
ridiculous.
Okay, let me see
the
it.
very first thing. The
Jamie's
very
gonna
first
find it.
Hey, the very first
Don't
thing.
poison the water.
Okay.
If you want me to get an honest, honest reaction.
The first thing Elon Musk said in his press conference, the first thing he said is like, "Well, I think it's impossible and ridiculous, and if you can tell it's real because it looks so fake." That's the opposite of logic. That there's logic and reason, and then there's the opposite of that.
No,
you can tell
but-
it's real because it looks so fake is the opposite of logic.
Or that's just something he says because he's a fucking genius and he's taking a picture from space.
No, the reason
of a
why he
car
said
that's
that,
flying through the air.
No, the reason he said that was because all day when they did that, all day, all over the internet was like fake, 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 fake. So that he had to have a statement.
Please hold on.
He
You're
had to have a
killing me.
statement.
This is so ridiculous. Let me see it, Jamie.
Watch
Come on,
it.
let me see the video.
Which one?
The fucking
The
launch
Tesla
of
in
the
space.
fucking-
I know
The
it's
Tesla
a
in
4.5 hour video. Which
is it?
No,
part of
just
it
get a
do you want me-
short one. Just go to Tesla in
the-
space.
Then you're gonna
Roadster
say
in
I
space.
picked the wrong one that got edited. So I'm trying to find the one that's from SpaceX.
We could
so
just
that it's
we could just abandon the subject. So fruitless.
You know what? It may be real. SpaceX
Why would
may
they
be
fake
real.
that?
Exactly. Why?
But
Who
you've
knows
seen
why?
them shoot the rockets off. I mean, literally,
It looks
people
when you look
watch
at it.
them. They
Anytime you
watch
see
it.
a rocket, anytime you see a rocket shoot, you see it go up and then you see it go down into the ocean.
No.
They launch rockets.
You
They're launching
don't.
rockets.
That's what it looks like because what you're seeing it go over the curve of the earth, Eddie. You're seeing it go
Okay.
over the ocean. You're seeing it go up and over. And so as it gets further away that you can't see it anymore, it looks like
It's
going
supposed
down.
to be going up,
But
not
it is going
parallel
down. It
to
is
the
going
ground.
up. It's not going parallel to the ground.
Okay. So
They're
all
shooting
right,
him
they are
into the
shooting
fucking
him. They are-
space and
they
the
are shooting
planet
him.
is spinning.
Yeah. Okay. I understand that that's what you believe, but you got to understand why I believe what I believe because
that's what you see. But if you have
No.
someone explain it to you, will you still believe it? If you have a scientist explain to you how the physics work of the way
no
you
explanation.
see it,
No,
won't
there's
work?
no explanation. I need evidence.
You need evidence.
And then when you see evidence, when you see that Tesla that they launched, and you see how fake it looks so fake.
Okay, but just because something doesn't look real doesn't mean it's fake.
But it doesn't mean it's real. I need evidence. I need
Okay.
evidence. That's not
So
evidence. You look at it like that's not
everything you
evidence.
see that you haven't seen with your own eyes might be fake.
Maybe I don't trust. It's a liar
So
you don't trust. Everybody
that's
has
like a simulation.
You know,
Right?
I had a friend who lied about everything. everything about his life, where he was from, all the things he did. He was a wrestling champion. He had everything. Then I found out, like 2 years into the relationship, little by little, that he lied about this and he lied about that. Then I find out that he lied about everything. He's one of those guys that lies about everything.
And that's how you view the government.
Yeah, so exactly. So he may be telling the truth, and even total liars will tell the truth throughout the day a lot just to get through the day. That you have to tell the truth to get, but then, at the drop of a hat, they're going to lie about their life in some crazy way or whatever.
I understand your logic, Eddie. Let me slow you down here. I understand your logic, but you also have to assume that most of the people that are telling you the truth about this or that online, that also don't have proof, that also are talking about these things and they haven't shown you, you haven't seen it, you haven't been there, just like you haven't been, examining satellites. These people, they you don't know if they're full of shit either.
They could be real. They could be.
They could be. But why would you assume they were? Why would you assume they were, but the satellites are fake? See what I'm saying?
What do you mean?
Assume that the people that are making these YouTube videos, that they're correct, but the people that are putting up satellites are full of shit.
I just go by science. That's it. Scientific evidence, like real science. Like water is always level, right? We know that. Water is always level. At 100 miles in the ocean.
This is a bad conversation if you don't understand how gravity works over a giant fucking sphere.
No. If we live on a ball that's 25,000 miles in circumference. If we do, then the water should be bending at a certain rate.
Stop with this. This is so crazy. You don't even know what that means.
I do know what that means. If it's a ball, the ocean should be curving at a certain rate, and they figured that out.
That's
perspective. That's perspective.
Yeah, but it's going around. Why is it going over the top, and why does it shrink at the end?
Everything. You look at the end of a street. Street lights do that.
Yeah, but it doesn't.
Street lights do that. That's called perspective.
Eddie, they do that on the hill, not on the ocean.
No, but you're looking at those electrical posts or whatever you call them, and they go down. That's how street light. You go right in the middle of a street. The very next street light appears to be shorter than that one, and then the next one appears to be short. That's how you draw shit. But is it really that short? No, it's just your perspective. You're actually looking at an optical illusion. You're actually looking at. It looks like they're getting shorter and descending. But are they? No, they're not. Because if you went up,
but Eddie, they disappear. They disappear over the horizon.
And then you could bring them back in.
But you can't. That's not true.
No, you can.
You can see more up to the edge of the horizon. No, but at the edge of the horizon, it goes over. They go over the edge.
So when you're talking about when with the naked eye, you're looking at a boat go in the ocean, and you see it go over the horizon.
When you use telescopes, you're just getting small enough so that you can't see it anymore.
Exactly.
But if you use a telescope, you can still see it for a little while.
Yeah.
And then it goes over the fucking curve of the
Earth. If you had a more powerful telescope, it brings it even closer.
But if you had a more powerful,
otherwise, they've already had tests. They've already done.
But you could see England. You could look out at. You could see Hawaii.
There's too much.
You could see Hawaii. Why can't you see Hawaii? If you could see the moon, why can't you see Hawaii?
There's a lot of atmospheric.
No, it curves. The fucking thing curves.
No, if it curves,
That's what the scientists say, Eddie. The ones who make the GPS, the ones who make the maps, the ones who chart the fucking paths for airplanes and shipping routes. All those people say it's round. All the people that do satellites, all the people that are involved in aerospace, all the people that are involved in anything where you have to calculate the fucking curve of the earth and the to get things to places. All those people think it. They're all wrong. That's crazy that they haven't seen that picture. They don't see that picture. If they saw that picture, they would get it.
At 100 miles in the ocean, 100 miles, how much curvature should there be? Do you know?
I don't care.
It's about 6,000 feet. Okay. It's about 6,000 feet of curvature. So you should not be able to see.
Is that how far you could see?
No, you wouldn't be able to see 100 miles away from the ocean.
But who, Eddie? You didn't go to school for this stuff. These people that are talking to you.
Dude, I research this all the time.
I know, but you're hearing from
what
one
I'm saying
side.
Is not a lie.
But you know what I'm saying?
What I'm saying is that at 100 miles, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature. You don't even understand what that means.
I don't.
I understand what that means. If we live on a ball that at every 100 miles there should be 6,000 feet of curvature, there's a formula for it. But when you look, there's Navy ships that can target other Navy ships with lasers 100 miles away. It would be impossible if there was a 6,000 foot curvature of water. Impossible. They take pictures of their target, pictures at 100 miles. There's no curvature. It's flat. There should be 6,000 feet of curvature.
They take pictures with what, Eddie? This is not your area of expertise. This is one of the reasons why I get crazy about this kind of shit.
Dude, I look into this all the time.
But just because you read something that someone says.
But I know that. You can't dispute what I just said. You can't dispute what I just said.
I bet you can. I bet I didn't go to school for it, so I don't know. But I bet if someone did.
Do you understand if we live on a ball at 100 feet, there should be 6,000 feet of curvature? Does that make sense to you?
So everyone's wrong, Eddie. So all these fucking people
that
are flying around
to
Australia, they're doing it the wrong way. All these people that go over the North Pole, all that's fake.
No one goes
all
over
those
the North
flights.
Pole.
Sure they do. There's no flights over the North Pole? There's no flight pass?
Maybe there's military planes that go over the North Pole, maybe.
Okay, let's change subjects.
But I've flown all over the world. I've never gone over the North Pole. I've flown everywhere. I've been everywhere. No one ever goes over the North Pole.
So
but
why wouldn't they go over the North Pole?
I don't know.
This is so
Obviously,
painful.
no. If it's so painful, let's change the subject.
I'm trying to change the subject.
We could talk about Tony Ferguson this Saturday. What about that?
That's a great fight.
You got any questions?
Well, you been working with him?
Fuck yeah, dude. He's sharper, stronger, in the best shape of his life. It's the same Tony that you'd think like, is it going to be the same Tony after he had some family stuff go on? Is that going to change him? His opponents hope it changes him, but he's the same Tony when it comes to fighting. We don't get into personal stuff. We just stick to fighting and the strategy. He's sharper than ever. I'm not, you can't guarantee any wins, but I will guarantee that he's going to go win 100% Tony.
It's a crazy matchup. It's a very good matchup.
That's like Russian roulette right there, dude. They're going to be throwing bombs at each other.
It's real good, particularly now with Donald has been on a tear. Like the last 4 fights. I mean, he's just looked so good, man. The Al Iaquinta fight, for people who know how good Al is, for Donald to handle Al like that and drop him and, and really put it to him like the way Al put it. I mean, Al said he beat the shit out of me. That's what Al's exact quote was. Al was very complimentary and respectful after the fight,
too. Cowboy is no joke. That guy.
He's on fire right now.
He doesn't fight like Khabib. He doesn't fight like Conor. He fights like Tony. So it's like similar. It's like Tony versus Tony. You know what I mean? Yep. And it's shit. Dude, they're both good on the ground. They're very good on the ground. We respect Cowboy's fucking ground game a lot. And, we did what we could to make sure, nothing bad happens on the ground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
they both have everything.
Yeah.
They both have great striking. Yeah. They both have great submissions.
Yeah. Tony's coming for war like he always does. It's going to be the same Tony they're throwing down. That's for sure, dude.
Now, when Tony, let me ask you this, because you know the answer to this. When Tony had his knee fixed, did he spar during that camp? Because someone said that he didn't do any sparring. That was like one of the rumors from someone who knew him.
I think he keeps his sparring. Talking about striking, right?
Yes.
I'm never there for the striking.
Oh, okay.
I'm never. It's separate. We don't. Yeah. I've never seen him. I'm never there for the striking. I only show up when there's grappling.
The amount of time that it took him
to
recover.
You know what? In Big Bear, we didn't bring anybody to spar like hardcore. It was just like light sparring.
Touching. Yeah. Because the knee, letting the knee heal.
Oh no, that was a different fight. Okay.
Well, I'm talking about the knee. Remember, he had the massive knee injury, and then he had surgery. And then what I had heard was
you're right.
that during the Pettis fight.
Oh, yeah. No sparring.
No sparring. No. Yeah, that's crazy.
Very
right?
light. Very light.
Well, I guess, when you're already world class, you could do that and fight a guy.
You can't fuck with that knee. He didn't want to fuck with that.
Right.
He wanted to make sure that nothing went wrong.
Get to the fight.
It was the right choice. And,
for sure.
And when he showed up against Pettis, he looked like same old Tony.
He did. It was stunning.
Vicious.
Because you're talking about a catastrophic knee injury, and then 6 months later, he's fighting a world-class fighter, and he's getting his legs checked.
Yeah.
He got that knee checked. We had even worried at one point in time that he might be injured.
What makes Tony so good, in my opinion, just based on working with him, is it seems that at the highest level, high-pressure fight, people aren't as they're more cautious. They don't want to try to do anything stupid. They're not fucking just letting it swing and letting it go. Tony isn't like that. Tony is, people want to get to the point where they just unleash and they don't give a fuck. And there's a lot of fighters like that. But Tony, when he's in there, it's like Nick Diaz. They're not afraid to throw anything. You know what I mean? He goes in there, he'll throw 2 spinning elbows in a row.
Right.
And he's just having fun. It's like he's alive and he's having fun in there. And on the ground, he's not going to be hesitant to do something wild and crazy. That's just the way he is, man. And he thrives in the cage, and there's zero holdback. He comes out guns ablazing the whole time.
Yeah, they're both at the top of their game, man. That's for sure. You know, and Tony didn't miss a step when he got that knee injury, which is very impressive. Even his striking was on point when he fought Pettis.
Yeah.
And he even got tested. He got clipped. I mean, Pettis hurt him. You know, he knows how to survive, man. He's a very unusual fighter, man. Very difficult to prepare for because he's so relentless.
Always studying. Always adding new weapons to his arsenal. Always adding something to his workout routine. He's always adding shit. He has the ability to focus more than anybody I know. His ability to focus, and you see that not only in the striking aspect of his game or the wrestling, but you see it in the jiu-jitsu, and that's where I see it is. He has so much focus. I don't have to reteach him shit. I will show him a very complicated transition of moves, like in Spiderweb, doing the Bollinger break. There's like 4 moves you got to do. Bah, bah. You got to fire them. It's got to be so smooth. There can't be any fuck ups. And I show him this, and after like 4 or 5 reps, he's got it down. And most people, it takes 6 months to get it down, to understand it. And he doesn't take him long to learn shit, anything, wrestling, striking, anything new. He's down, but he doesn't forget it. That's the most important thing. He remembers all the shit. And, it's...
So who's working with him with striking?
A guy named Rashad. He's I think he was an Olympic hopeful back in the day.
Boxer?
Yeah.
Most guys do that, right?
Yeah.
It seems like there's not a lot of guys who just use one for all striking.
Yeah, he's got a bunch of people that train him. He's got a couple different strength and conditioning coaches. He's got a whole crew, man.
I think that's important when it comes to boxing, too.
He's really into recovery. Like he spends a serious time recovering. He's got all these contraptions. You know those things that they're like leg sleeves.
Normatex, yeah.
And they inflate. And he's on that all the time. He's like, when it comes to rehab for any injury, he's like a professional NFL player, And ice baths, massages. He doesn't fuck around, man. He's 100% thinking about and doing something for the fight, usually just nonstop. He can go on for hours. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's a fucking crazy matchup, and it's only the 3rd fight. I mean, it's the 3rd from the top. There's 2 championship fights on top of that.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that should be
crazy.
The headliner right there. Come on, man. That fight's going to be nuts. People are going to go crazy for that shit.
It's great, but Cejudo and Marlon Moraes have to fight for the bantamweight title. That's a crazy fight too, man. Cejudo Moraes, that's the main event. And then Valentina Shevchenko and Jessica Ai for the women's flyweight title. So those are 2 world title fights. They have to have those at the top. But that just shows you how fucking crazy the card is. The card from top to bottom is just amazing.
Yeah, it's going to be crazy.
Fucking Jimmy Rivera and Piotr Jan, Tai Tuivasa and Balogny Ivanov. You were moving it while I was trying to read it. Don't do that, bro. That's rude. Fuck up that dude's name. Tai Tuivasa is an animal. That's a great fucking fight. That guy's crazy. That's that guy that drinks out of his shoe. You ever see him do that? He does shoeies. He pours beer into shoes and other people's shoes. He'll tell someone to take their shoes off. He pours beer into their shoes and then drinks it.
Oh my God.
It's so disgusting.
Yeah.
It's so foul. Yeah. I don't get it. But I get it. I don't get it, but I get it. He likes to party. He's like that dude in Talladega Nights. What the fuck's his name?
Not Ricky Bobby, the other guy?
The other guy.
John C. Reilly?
Yeah, John C. Reilly.
I like to
party.
I like to party.
He likes to drink out of shoes. Fuck it. He's an animal. I guess, if you want to really show you don't give a fuck, that's a good way to go about doing it. Just grab a man's shoe and pour a beer into it and drink it.
Yeah.
His dirty, sweaty feet have been funking around. Imagine if you died from that. Imagine if someone's foot fungus was so disgusting that even the alcohol didn't kill it, and it germinated inside your gut where foot fungus is never going to be. Like, if there's venereal diseases, right? We all know there are, because you dirty bitch. Like, what are you guys doing to each other? You're both giving each other dirty fucking things, you dirty things. And like, diseases are weird, right? People give each other diseases. Then there's venereal diseases, which are extra weird. It's like, oh, you dirty people, you gave each other these dirty diseases. But nature says we don't like this. Nature just lets these sneaky little parasites and viruses and bacteria get in your body. What if there was an even more powerful one for people who sucked on feet? What if it got in your gut? Nature's like, this guy's just too much of a freak. We got to call him for the herd. If there was foot sucking diseases, before you make out with someone, you got to tell them, hey, I just want you to know I got a foot sucking disease. So if you don't, maybe we should do this. What? Jamie, what are you making faces for?
Says you can get staph from doing this.
Of course you can. Science confirms shoeies are really freaking dangerous, especially if you're rich. Why is it more dangerous? That's clicky.
But
they try to get us with the clicky bait.
Turns out you can get staph.
Yeah, you can get staph. Don't do it.
Yeah, duh. I don't need a science study to figure that out.
Yeah, because the Staph aureus can cause toxins, and these toxins are quite resistant to heat. They're quite resistant to the acidic environment when they can survive protein-breaking enzymes. Oh, Jesus Christ. If you drink from someone's shoe containing staph and its toxins, yes, it can give you an acute gastrointestinitis. Fuck all that. It says, but alcohol is a disinfectant, right? Well, yes, but there's always still a risk of infection, especially if you have lower ABV alcohol by volume drinks. As you'd expect, higher ABV drinks like vodka do a much better job of eradicating bacteria. So yeah, beer, which is what they drink, which is a low alcohol beer or low alcohol beverage. What a fucked up way to die.
Yeah, you got to do shots in those things. Shots are fine.
Oh my God, people are crazy. But no one's happy with like taking it and leaving it where it is. Everybody wants to take it to the next level. Like everyone constantly, like, you want to one up somebody. I'm going to drink out of your underwear, bro. I'm going to use your underwear as a fucking filter. No! And dudes are going to be doing undies. They're just going to be ripping each other's underwear off and using them over a filter, put it over a glass, and drink right through your underwear.
How did that cat coffee get found out that was a fucking good idea?
Because some asshole decided to pick cat shit and find beans in it. It's a cat-like animal, right? It's called a civet.
Yeah.
You ever had that shit? That Kopi Luwak coffee?
No.
It's very expensive. No. Tate and I got it once when we were at a gig in Florida.
Tate?
Yeah. It was like $100 cup of coffee or something stupid. It was really ridiculous. Not that much. Maybe $25.
What gig?
Like, I don't remember.
When he was bodyguarding
West
you?
Palm. Yeah. Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, that's the animal. Look at that thing. So that thing eats the coffee beans. It shits them out, and then people pull it out of the poop.
Looks like a payday.
He looks like a little person, like the Thing's baby.
Pull it out of the poop.
Like the Thing from Fantastic Four. It looks like his baby. Yeah, they pull those beans out of the poop, and then they dry them off and make coffee out of cat shit. And it tastes delicious because what it is look at that. That's gold. That right there is gold coming out of that cat's asshole. Look at that. That is ridiculous. You just see that online. Taking a large, like if that was a person, you'd be in jail. Right? If you went and Googled that person shitting on a log like that, you'd be like, you sick fuck. As long as it's an animal, it's fine to look at their shit and even mine it. They mine their shit for beans. The idea is that the digestive enzymes from the civet's body break down the beans, the coffee beans. That's the idea.
And you liked it?
It was okay.
Why don't you?
Wasn't better. It's not better.
Have it here for the guests.
It's not better. The idea is that it's supposed to be smoother. It's smoother. This cat shit coffee smoother. I don't know, man. I don't necessarily think it really is smoother. It's just different. Some weird shit.
I wonder if you could just eat the cat shit just like that without cleaning it off.
If you were really nasty. Yeah.
Like the natives probably just used to eat the cat shit directly.
They probably did, but I think you need
Gave them energy.
You probably need to boil it. That's why when you're making coffee, and that boiling water probably kills all the bad stuff. You know?
Did Indians boil shit? I wonder.
I don't know who invented that shit and how long it's been around, that shit, literally. Who invented that coffee? How long it's been around?
It's been. I'm looking at it right now on Wikipedia. Since like the 1800s, they noticed that these particular animals were eating specific cherries or whatever that they were leaving around, and that they were going undigested. So at some point, they decided to clean it off and see how it tasted. I guess Seems
that
like
makes sense.
Fucking risk.
I was listening to my friend Ryan Callahan's podcast today. It's Cal's Week in Review, and he was talking about this animal that this bird rather, that people eat, and they drown this bird in brandy. They take this little tiny bird. Each one of them is like just a few ounces, and they drown them in brandy. And then when you eat them whole. You eat everything, the guts. You eat the tissue, the skin. That's where it is. What is the name of it? How do I pronounce it?
Ortolan bunting.
Ortolan. And so when you eat it, you put a napkin over your head traditionally when they eat it. And as they eat it, Bourdain was the first one to tell me about this shit. It was Duncan. Duncan Trussell was the first person to tell me about this shit. And
So
Bourdain loved it.
They soak the bird in brandy.
They drown it.
Okay.
They drown it in brandy, and then they cook it somehow or another. But anyway, go back to that picture where those guys are eating it, where you can see go back to the picture with see how they have those things over their head? They put these napkins over their head to take in the aromas and to trap the aromas, and they also do it to hide their face from God. That was the idea. Fuck. Yeah.
What kind of people are these?
I think it's Europeans. I think it's something that in France it's popular. It's a popular dish, and it's endangered. Not endangered now, but they're. Yeah, it's okay. Ortolans. Could France's cruelest food be back on the menu? As French chefs lobby for ortolan to be reintroduced onto menus, we explain why cooking the rare and delicate songbird is so controversial. So that's even grosser, right? It's a songbird. Like how they named it a songbird. It's not a little tiny dinosaur. No. Yeah. It's a songbird. It just wants to sing for you and make the woods brighter. Tweet, tweet, tweet. No, man, it's a weird little tiny animal. Says, why is it illegal to cook and kill an ortolan? The RSPB lists their status as vulnerable, and throughout the 1970s and 1980s, numbers in France declined dramatically as poachers caught vast numbers to supply restaurants where the bird has long been considered a rare and expensive delicacy. Some restaurants would charge over £50 for the dish. What is that in? Is that euros or pounds?
It's pounds. That's
pounds.
Pound, yeah.
What do you think that costs? What's £50? Is that like $100?
Not quite, but it's a lot.
Something like that. France's League for the Protection of Birds claimed ortolan numbers plunged 30% between 1997 and 2007, as many as 1,500 poachers catching an estimated 30,000 live birds a year. So they're just decimating these fucking things. The method of capture and killing them is what's fucked up about it. So the hunters catch the birds using traps in the fields. They're kept in cages, encouraging them to gorge on grain in order to double their size. And it said the Roman emperors stabbed out their eyes in order to make the birds think it was night, making them eat even more. Okay, here it goes. And then how were they killed? This is where the squeamish look away. What is the name of this website so we give people?
That's an article
Telegraph?
from the Telegraph.
Autograph from the Telegraph. What is the name of the article? Well, we'll say it at the end.
You said it earlier.
How were they killed? It says, this is where the squeamish need to look away. Traditionally in France, the fattened little birds are drowned in a vat of Armagnac. I guess it's like a type of cognac or something. What is that, Armagnac?
Yeah, you're probably dead on with that.
Okay. Managing to snuff out their lives and marinate them at the same time. Killing two birds with one glug, as it were, it says here in the article. French chefs argue that it's not a bad way to die. In quotes, what the fuck? But I suppose it might be less cruel than throwing a live lobster into a pot of boiling water. Anyway, so that's how they drown them, and then they cook them, and then you eat the whole fucking thing, bones and all, and the bones puncture your mouth and shit, and that's part of it. Like, you taste your own blood as you're eating these fucking things. Yeah. People are weird, man. You leave them alone for long enough, Let them get drunk and buy things.
Reminds me of that Andrew Schultz bit that he put on YouTube.
Which one?
The eating ass. He goes, if you eat ass, you should not complain about other people's food. You know what my friend told me, he goes, hey, you know in Thailand they eat crickets? He goes, I eat ass. Because they're eating crickets because they have no food. My refrigerator's full.
It's so true, too.
He's so good, dude.
He's
Andrew
a great guy,
Schultz,
too.
He's so good, man.
Yeah,
that's
very funny.
That's my new favorite dude.
Yeah, he's awesome. Really, really nice guy, too.
Dirty as hell.
Yeah, you can meet him next time he's at the store. You'll love him. He's a real comic. It's a real deal.
Oh, he's high level. He's high level, dude.
Mm-hmm.
We drive to Tony to train Tony, and we're listening to Andrew Schultz.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I love that guy.
He's great. And he also is one of the few that is doing the YouTube thing now, where he decided to release all of his shit on YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah, thank God. It's
very smart.
Giving me some, entertainment.
It's also very smart for him. I mean, he's getting millions and millions of views on YouTube.
He's blowing up.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Yeah, he's killing it.
Yeah.
And to have it available anytime. I mean, they say that kids watch 50% of Netflix on their phone. 50%. At least I think that was the numbers they gave me. I think that was what they said about my special.
It's 50% across the board for what take your pick. Remove Netflix, YouTube 50%, Twitch 50%, website 50%.
But that's the switcheroo though. It's 50% watching on their phone. They could be watching on their computer, but how many of them watched on their TV? Like with YouTube, it's probably a pretty small percentage, right?
It switches because they're tracking. They splinter it between like an Xbox or a PS4 or a smart TV or.
I watch YouTube on my TV. I mirror that shit.
Yeah,
I do that.
I do that sometimes. I mirror that, and I also there's a YouTube is one of the other apps that's built into the TV I bought, so you can get Netflix right from your TV. You don't have to have an Apple TV, and YouTube right from your TV. It's interesting how big it is now. I mean, it's so big. YouTube is gigantic.
They got a bunch of movies on there now. I was watching it on my TV and just like scrolling through to see what it was going to give me, and it's
they were making their own movies.
Ads. Yeah,
they were making their own movies, but it's weird to like. It seems like you don't know where to search. Like, what do? You just go into the search bar and just search, just type things up?
I just go to my subscription. I subscribe to certain people, and I just go to the subscriptions.
Not what I mean.
Boom.
Yeah, I know. I do that too. But I mean, like, if they make a movie, like they were making movies, like how do you find that movie?
They got to pop up. They'll pop up right in your face.
But,
they own that shit.
But if it's a movie that they make, like, I wonder how. I would like to know the numbers. Like, how many times have they done that? Because they made YouTube originals, right? Like they financed their own movies.
Most of them are shows, though. Like the one that I know has done the best is that Cobra Kai. It's like in the second or third season, I think.
Isn't that weird though? That they get into the production side of it. Like they're already a place where people produce things and then put them on YouTube, and YouTube's like, we're gonna make our own shit.
Yeah, why bother?
But then they become something different, right? Because they're gonna favor their own stuff above your stuff. If you make a movie too,
they haven't made why bother?
I think they just want to. I mean, I think that's what every company gets into this position where they have to constantly expand. They got to constantly be kicking ass. You know, I mean, no one wants to be stagnant. They don't want the quarterly earnings to be the same every quarter. That's a bad sign. They want to be out there killing it, right? Don't they think like that? Like every company thinks like that.
The NBA Finals is currently sponsored by YouTube TV.
That's hilarious.
So like they're on normal TV, they're broadcasting Watch TV on YouTube TV, which is pretty counterintuitive. But.
I have it. Yeah, I have YouTube TV. Every now and then you need to watch something on a regular channel. I use it once every 8 months. Barely. Pay like $50 a month for it. Never use it.
Well, it's so much different though than a network because anybody can put their shit up. That's where it gets so weird. It's like this is all so new. And
YouTube TV is our TV channels that you could watch through YouTube. They're like Channel 4, Channel...
Oh, that's not what I'm talking
11.
about.
Oh, okay.
What I'm talking about is YouTube originals.
Okay.
They're YouTube's creating things. Yeah, those are different things. But it's just... What percentage of the views, what percentage of the eyeballs of America does YouTube have?
All of them.
Is it 100%?
I mean, are you kidding?
Okay, let's just go the low
YouTube's
number.
YouTube's giant.
What the low number is? How many people every day don't watch YouTube?
I watch YouTube several times a day.
But what's the percentage of people, if you had to guess, that don't use YouTube at all? 10?
I would guess that maybe.
They probably have 90% of the people's eyeballs.
Yeah.
It's like technically it's the number 2 search engine on the internet as far as I've read.
Dude, that hurts my
bigger
brain.
than Bing and all that. Like
That hurts my brain when you stop and think about how many fucking people must be watching YouTube videos around the world. It's just a company, but it's like so. Then they're a network, sort of, but you're allowed. They just have terms and conditions, so you're allowed to upload, and then they have to monitor your shit, make sure you're not putting anything horrible up, no ISIS beheadings, nothing crazy. And you're like, what numbers are you talking about? How are you even looking at all this stuff?
One of the funniest videos on or genre videos on YouTube are They're supposed to be instructionals on Japanese massage. Mm-hmm. It's like supposed to be an instructional. It's all about an instructional, but it's not.
What is it?
They take it as far as you can go for YouTube.
Oh,
you can't go.
It becomes a porn.
Almost.
Wow.
Almost.
Can't you show
Japanese
titties? Are you allowed
massage.
to show titties?
No.
educationally.
No. But they do.
Okay, but are you
find,
allowed to show titties and then pixelate out the nipples?
No, there's YouTube for naked chicks. Go to YouTube and go to naked chicks. Boom.
Like
we've talked about this before.
Here's my question. Imagine if they had porn. If they got right to the part where the people bone. Like right to the part. And then they just gave you like outlines. Like from then out, all you see is like outlines, bodies moving. You don't see any real dick or any real vagina, but you see outlines of butts and dicks and vagina and feet up in the air. And
I bet that's all over YouTube.
I wonder if they could do that.
You only got to change a couple letters, and you're on a real website that does that for real.
Like you jizz or you porn?
Exactly.
Yeah. But I'm saying on YouTube, like what are the terms and conditions? Is there, like, could you get right to the point of people actually having sex and then just all of a sudden just becomes not even an animation, just becomes outlines? You see people kissing. As long as they don't outline dicks, as long as they don't have fake dicks and vaginas, like
tight shots
how far
of the body.
can you go?
Tight shots of the chest, back, shoulder.
How far? But all of it is just outlines. It's just a black screen with like white outlines of bodies on a bed.
Is the audio illegal?
That's a good question. Yeah, is the audio like is that illegal? Is that okay? What's the terms and conditions for
you
people
can do
coming?
a lot of stuff, but I don't know at what point a couple of years ago they added a like age restriction.
Right.
Sort of thing. So you could probably do that, but it'll get marked 18 and older only or something.
Well, here's the reason why I ask. Twitter has porn. Straight up porn. And I asked Jack Dorsey about it, and he's like, yeah, Twitter allows porn. They allow porn.
Wow.
So you could be flipping through, and someone's just got straight up hardcore porn on the biggest, it's got to be, if not the biggest social media platform on the planet Earth, it's top 2, right? If it's not number 1.
I'm never on Twitter.
What is
anymore.
number 1?
Facebook.
Facebook's number 1.
Are you on Twitter?
Well, I put things up there.
But
I read feeds occasionally. Read someone's feed if they post interesting stuff.
I think Snapchat's even higher than
But I avoid it for them. I just don't have the time anymore.
Yeah. I only have time for Instagram.
So
That's
Snapchat is higher? Well, either way.
It's close.
Either way. Yeah. It's giant. It's giant. It's enormous. And they allow porn, which is kind of crazy. Because, like, I know they're not as big as YouTube in terms of, like, total minutes watched of things. And the thing is that most of what Twitter is text. Most of it. So when they have porn, it's like a fraction of what the whole thing is. Whereas if YouTube had porn, it would very quickly become most of YouTube. Like if YouTube just had porn, people would blow a fucking gasket. Because kids are on YouTube all the time. Did your son get on YouTube and look at things?
No, some videos I'll show him, but he's not.
Yeah.
He's too young to get on the internet.
They look at little kid stuff. There's a lot of little kid content. And that was one of the ways that people were getting kids to watch so they can make ad revenue. You see those weird fucking videos they would find? So like kids would be watching like Wile E. Coyote cartoons, or they watch some Mickey Mouse type cartoons, and then all of a sudden it would be like these cartoon superheroes that were babies and they were getting drunk and they would fall and cut their head open. It was like, what the fuck is this? And there was like hundreds of them. And they had made it like with a formula just so that they could catch kids in these algorithms that recommend the next video and play the next video. So it would eventually get to their video because it would say, like someone from Frozen with Spider-Man, like, and have those names in the title. Elsa from Frozen and Spider-Man.
This is a large. Something happened that we missed. I've heard about this recently too. That's why I was actually pulling it up. this is a really large YouTube channel, and there's some sort of like inside joke going on
Dude,
between
look
this
at
Elsa
this.
and Spider-Man thing.
10,870,872 views. What the fuck?
Yeah, there's
That's
some
so
else
many
going
views. If a television show on CBS got that, they would be doing fucking backflips. They'd be like, look at all the views we got. This is amazing. Meanwhile, this is Spider-Man and Elsa.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just something else up, but yeah, it's
So,
weird.
It's not
But
illegal to do that, to
but
use
that
that in their title?
think
Isn't
so.
that
No.
a trademark, putting
They
Spider-Man
can't
up?
find all of them. They can't find all of them. They try. I think they take some of them down.
Isn't it AI that does that?
I think
Isn't it?
so, yeah.
They just...
Machine
They're
learning.
Spider-Man.
I think they're
Anything
getting
says Spider-Man.
But I think they're getting away with that because they were in a costume. I think maybe you could get away with wearing a costume.
Yeah, I don't know where those laws change if it's how
maybe
much parody it
maybe
is.
Spider-Man is like, at this point, public domain, the name or something.
No way, because then other people would be banging out Spider-Man movies. You imagine that? Like if someone didn't own Spider-Man, if anybody can make their own Spider-Man movie, if Spider-Man was just like an archetype hero,
But you know what? Maybe...
right? Like there's some...
Because you
there's
could
some
put out a
creatures-
video, like if you wanted to, talk some shit on Burt Reynolds or whatever. You could put Burt Reynolds, and they can't. That's legal, right? Just putting
Yeah.
people's names in
Right.
the title.
Right, but that's not what that is. That's like they're making a video using copywritten characters that someone created, like Elsa from Frozen and Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like they probably got away with it because they were dressed up as them rather than like drawing them. Like if they had footage from the movie or animation, they probably all have that shit copywritten.
Yeah.
But you could probably get away with, if you have your own script and you make some stupid play with Elsa and Spider-Man, you could probably get away with that. I don't know though, man. It's weird. They're all like trying to figure out what you can and can't do. What can you not? And so these companies that are making these weird and that was a people one where there's people. Most of them that I saw before they purged them were animated. There are weird animations where it was always a baby and the baby would fall and cut their head. It was fucked up. Like the same image would happen over and over again. And there was these websites that were analyzing it. And they were like, what the fuck is this? Like, why is this baby fall and cut his head? And like all these different versions of this same sort of story with different characters. It was just like they had a pattern that they could stick it into. So whatever the character was Mickey Mouse or Donald Duck, or they're always drinking and they fall and hit their fucking head. It's weird shit. But they would get millions and millions and millions of views. So someone was raking in the dough from advertising revenue from that.
I had a friend who dated a girl that ended up coming from a family of Satanists.
Whoa.
Yeah. Broke up with her. It's a long story, but it's a very interesting story that I don't want to
Did
get
they have
into.
a direct line to Satan?
No, they broke up. They were together for a couple of years, and shit came out. She was like multi-personality, Satanist, family, father, all that shit. And then he broke up with her naturally, but they kind of kept in contact. And the last he heard, that she got a job programming children's TV at a large company. I don't want to say the company.
Dun, dun, dun.
And this is a pretty good friend of mine. He's not bullshitting. But that's scary.
Bro,
right
did
there.
you see that preacher that got confronted by Inside Edition? What is his name? Kenneth Copeland? Bro, it's hilarious. I don't know how much we can show this because this will absolutely get us pulled. This dude got confronted by Inside Edition. They're doing these stories on these preachers that use the donations from their flock to buy private jets and live like a baller. And so she asks him, is it true that you said that you don't want to fly commercial because you don't want to be stuck in a tube with demons? And first of all, he got caught off guard and he kind of was chilled at first. But then he got mad at her when she asked that same question again. He said, no, and I didn't, and don't you bring it up, and don't you say I did. That's what he says. And he points at her, and this pull it ahead a little bit because this is the full version of this. Pull it. There's that right before that. Like she asks him,
What is he, an evangelist?
Yeah.
Can we hear it?
A big time. No, we can't because we'll get pulled off of YouTube for sure. But he gets really fucking mad at her. She said, but didn't you say that you can't fly commercial because the tube is filled with demons? Do you think that people are demons? Like this lady has balls of steel because this guy's giving her the crazy eyes. And he's saying all kinds of crazy shit to
There's
her.
some question she also asked about, like, why did you buy it? And he's like, because he made it so cheap.
Yeah.
It's like $980 million.
He made it so cheap. It's like I couldn't say no. That's what he says.
Whose plane was it? It was
Hey,
someone.
Tyler's the best
Tyler
guy.
Perry, yeah.
Made it so cheap. That's it. He's saying it right there.
Well, my
I had to buy it. Yeah, you can't play it, unfortunately, but play it right after that. Now, this is where she asks him again. He's getting frustrated with her. This is where she asks him again about demons. Now, watch him get mad here.
All right, but I want to get to the
Hold up, but you can't play it because if they fucking hear it, if they hear it, they'll yank us. Don't you
talking.
do
They
it.
don't like it.
Don't
Don't
you
they-
do it, Jamie.
Keep talking.
Don't they like your
They can pull
YouTube?
the audio
Doesn't
out of
matter,
it.
man. It's whoever owns this content. Don't play any of the audio. So he gets mad at her, and she's about to say it. She's gonna go, but I'm sorry. But didn't you say? But didn't you say?
There he
Right
goes.
before it. Yep, right there. So watch this. She goes, didn't you say that they were demons? No. Look at this. And don't you say that I did. Look at that. Look at that. Bro, that's intense. And then he tries to charm her. That, to me, is what I would imagine a demon would look like if you cornered it. Like, be realistically. Tell me, back up. Back up right there.
Look
Just
at
a
that.
little bit before that, but a little bit before it, when he's actually angry. A little bit before that. Watch when he gets actually angry. Like, if you thought the demons were real, what would you think that they would behave like? Well, they would just pretend to be people and be all slippery. What's happening here?
I just froze it. I paused
Okay,
it there.
back up so we could see him do it, though. Back up so we could see him do it. So right here, she asks him, well, watch this. No, and don't you say that I did. And then watch this. Smile. Smile. Just let it play.
Okay.
Stop fucking around. Watch this. Look at that face. Oh, I'm your friend again. I'm just a nice preacher.
His hand looks like that Hobbit foot we were looking at.
Bro,
earlier.
his nails are long as fuck, just like Satan. I would imagine Satan does not have a manicure. Eddie, any thoughts?
No, it's you got to look evil. You can't
That
look
dude
pretty.
caught a sweet loophole. Tax exempt status. That's what's really interesting about churches. Tax exempt, baby. They're doing the government's work. The government's like, you're doing such a good job keeping these people in line. Here you go. Free. No taxes, bro. You're good. Like, imagine the government looking at televangelists going, well, seems legit. You definitely have the Lord's words in mind, and you're definitely not making a ton of money in a loophole. So, yeah, for sure. Keep that tax exempt status. Seems good. Seems super solid. Imagine that, like, somewhere, someone must have had that conversation. Whether or not they should have tax exempt status. Like, at what point in time, you know? Like, how about the Catholic Church? How many sex scandals? How many pedophile scandals does it take before you lose tax exempt status? Is it like 1 million? How many cases? How many cases do you need? Like, at what point in time do you go, hey, maybe you guys should fucking at least pay taxes? You know?
Maybe that's the deal they cut. You don't
Oh
go to
my
jail
God.
for the kids, but you got to start paying taxes.
Well, they're not prosecuting them because people aren't screaming for it. What's really interesting is that if you look at some of the things that people are really rallying about today, what you would call like social justice warriors, people are rallying around so many different causes. Those people that are rallying around all these causes, supporting Antifa, doing this, protecting this and going after that, what they're not doing is going after that church. How come they're not shouting from there? If you really want justice, if you really want to do good in the world, wouldn't you want to stop the pedophiles? Wouldn't you want to stop that? If you don't see that, it's too scary for people. It's so big. They got their own country. The Vatican's basically a country. They got their own passport. It's dark. It's dark when people look like they feel like they're doing progress, and then you're not stopping that. You're not. Like, your concern is what? What's your concern?
The sculpture of the resurrection. Have you seen that?
No.
Ugh, evil.
What
It's
is
in
that?
the Vatican. It's supposed to be Jesus rising from the dead, but it looks like
zombie.
It looks like hell.
Let me see that.
Yeah,
The sculpture of the resurrection.
yeah.
There's some amazing.
And then they got a
artwork
They got
there.
a serpent cathedral where it looks like it's a serpent's head. It's crazy stuff.
Have you
dude.
been?
No, but I've seen it on YouTube.
You been to Italy yet?
No.
You should go, dude. It is insane. It's so insane. The Vatican is so insane. It's absolutely worth that trip.
You went into the Vatican?
Yeah, it's amazing. The artwork is off the charts. You can't believe it. St. Peter's Basilica. That's it.
That right there.
Who fucking made that?
That's supposed to be something about like
Bro, that looks
that
like
represents
the
Christianity.
gate in front of Marilyn Manson's house.
Yeah. Totally, dude. Look at
That
that
looks like
shit.
something Marilyn Manson would be rocking.
Dude, this is their...
The beautiful people. The beautiful people.
Yeah. Make a great photo shoot.
That would be
for-
an amazing gate, right? If you were like the ultimate horror fiction writer, like if Stephen King bought a house in the Hollywood Hills,
Yeah.
and that was his gate.
Look up the Serpent
Resurrection.
Cathedral, Serpent Cathedral, Vatican. That's crazy, dude. Looks like a snake.
So there's a thing in there called St. Peter's Basilica. Man, you've never seen anything like
that's
that in
it.
your life.
Right there.
That's
Look
it?
at that. Wow. It looks like... Come on, man.
That's crazy.
Come on, man.
That's crazy. It has the eyes of a snake, the head of a snake, and the fangs. That is
Where it is.
Scary.
You can see that resurrection thing right there.
Oh my god!
it's all the same
resurrection
thing.
You see that?
Oh, it's dude, come on.
It's evil!
Come on. Come
oh
on,
my
man.
god, that's amazing. That's amazing,
Dude.
If you were dating a girl and she was like
that has
a
nothing to
Wiccan,
do with Jesus right there, dude. I don't see Jesus anywhere.
if you were dating a girl and she's really into witchcraft, you'd want to fuck her right in between the teeth. Baby, I want to take you to the Vatican. We're gonna sneak away. I'm gonna bribe somebody. I'm gonna fuck you between the teeth.
Yeah, that's scary.
Can you imagine
shit.
if they just had a bed that you could borrow?
What if
between teeth?
what if the Pope is really the king of the world?
Look at him out there. It's crazy.
What if he is though? What if he is?
I don't think so. It's definitely
What if
not.
he is? He might be. He might be the most powerful man.
So
on
let me
earth.
ask you this. What do you think about all this alien shit that's going on right now? All this UFO shit. What do you think that is? You think that's a distraction?
The stuff that's going on right now, 100%.
Yes,
The
100%.
Pfizer just got declassed. They're trying to. That's what it is. The Pfizer declass, are you kidding? That's going to bury a lot of people going to jail.
So you think that's why the UFO stuff is out there?
It's always been about UFOs, really.
Do you think
since
that they do that? Like they have certain UFO cases that they say, listen, if anything gets weird, we're just going to let this motherfucker loose. Woo! And we're going to tell people, listen, we've seen the aliens. We've got a hold of them. We've got to alert Congress. We've got to talk to people. And then people start just forgetting about corruption, forgetting about the BP oil spill, forget about whatever the fuck is. Dude, the aliens are coming.
Yes.
Trust me.
Yes.
They've been talking to the government.
Yes.
You know what my argument against it has always been? Why would they talk to the government? If you're from another fucking planet, like when we visit chimpanzees, we don't say, hey, who's the number one chimp? We want to bring you bananas and sign a peace treaty with you. We don't give a fuck who the leader is. Get out of here. You don't get special deals.
Yeah.
You don't get special deals.
Take
'cause
us
you're
to
the
your
top
leader.
chimp. Oh, the top chimp made a deal to let us kidnap some baby chimps so we could bring them to the zoo. Yeah. The fuck out of here.
Yeah.
If they're coming here from another planet, they must be so much more sophisticated than we are. They're not going to listen to us.
Yeah.
We're crazy.
They're doing it for several reasons, in my opinion, and one, like exactly like you said, when there's for distractions, and right now they're going heavy with it. But you know, Werner von Braun, the last 4 years of his life, he had cancer, and he had an assistant, and you can watch her on YouTube talk. Her name is Dr. Carol Rosalind, and she said that he kept telling her over and over, because they're preparing, like on his deathbed, they're preparing for a fake alien invasion. Oh, that's what they're doing. They're trying to scare us into a new world order.
Dun, dun, dun.
And she talks about this. No, she doesn't say why. He goes, he never told me why. He just kept telling me, all this stuff you hear about aliens and asteroids, it's all fake. First, there's going to be an environmental threat that they're going to scare everybody with. Global warming, in my opinion. Then there's going to be asteroid threats. And then the final one. And she says this, and he kept saying this, because the final one, the last one they're going to do is the fake alien invasion. That's why there's movies like Independence Day. It gets everyone used to, we're all going to, let's call China and Russia and we all band together.
Good call.
It's to get us prepared for a one world government. That's what it's really all about. The aliens and all that, the Nazis were doing that to their own people. They made, when I was balls deep in the UFO community, we would, they would show us that, there's pictures of the German UFOs. And in the UFO community, we looked at that as evidence that they must have found crashed UFOs, and then they're trying to reverse engineer them. That's what everybody in the UFO community thinks. But when you look into it, dude, they were trying to scare their own people to look for the government. They're just scaring us so that we go to the government.
Well, science fiction had flying saucers before flying saucers were something that the government or the German.
Well, you look at the timing.
German
No, the timing, here it
government
goes.
tried to create. So I think they were trying to freak people out and make it seem like it was aliens.
30s, yes.
Yeah.
So, exactly. So World War II's over.
We didn't have
Operation
world
Paperclip.
worlds.
Look, Operation Paperclip, 1945, 1946. We bring in over all the guys that ended up creating the CIA and NASA were from Operation Paperclip. So right away.
For sure, NASA.
So when you look at this, if the Nazis were trying to scare their own people with fake UFOs, they must have came in and said, dude, you guys aren't on the UFO shit. You got to scare your people. So that's exactly when all the comic books were, all these space comic books.
Wait a minute. So the Germans were scaring their people with UFOs before the United States got scared with UFOs? Really?
Yes. This was the 30s.
That is, listen, if you're going to be a master of propaganda like Hitler was, right?
Yes.
Manipulation and propaganda, that would be the move, man.
Who wanted a new
get
world
someone
order
to
more
fly
than Hitler?
around.
Who wanted to control the world more than that guy?
Right.
That guy knew how to do it, and it's an old idea. It's an old idea.
Sure.
The way everybody, the ancient Roman emperors, they all dreamt for that one world government, but they couldn't pull it off. There was no way they could pull it off because the only way to make a new world order actually happen is you got to get the people to embrace it. You can't force them into it. So you got to mind fuck them to embrace a new world order. You got to make them want it. Otherwise, they're not going to do it.
They'll just stay in their own little tribe.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all the little rulers will go like, dude, we do a one world government. I'm out of a job. Fuck you. So it's impossible. But they knew, they theorized if there was some kind of alien threat.
Don't you remember Reagan talking about that?
Exactly. When you're in the UFO community, you take that Reagan speech from the UN and from the CFR and you look at that as proof that there's aliens. But now I look at that, when you look at him and like at the CFR, he goes, wouldn't all our jobs be a little bit easier if there was some sort of threat, some extraterrestrial threat?
Well,
he's talking
says,
to the rule.
Well, it's not exactly what he said.
No. You're talking about the UN
was,
one. I'm talking about a different one. He did it
so
many
he had
times.
two different
Dude,
speeches.
he was doing it all. No, that was a bunch of them.
Yeah.
He was on a mission to get everyone. But he makes it sound like, but he's like making it sound like humanitarian. Like, wouldn't all our differences just seem to diminish if there was some sort of extraterrestrial threat? That was getting everybody used to this shit. We're going to come. The UN is all about a one world government. They can't do it, but now we're approaching the tech. We have the technology now with holograms. Now we could do it. It's always been for hundreds of years. They knew that, but they couldn't pull it off. How are you going to pull it off?
Because the dudes who know how to make that shit are making movies. When you imagine, what are you saying?
I told you about this last week. You said you didn't see it.
What is
Trump's
that?
talking about the military-industrial complex.
Oh, yes. Oh, let me hear that.
Can we hear that?
Yeah.
Was that free use?
You're talking about Space Force?
The president, right?
Yeah.
Is he talking about Space Force?
No.
You can reassure people you're not looking for some kind of
this is
conflict.
Fox News, man. You can't play this.
It's the news.
It's Fox. It's like a clip from a Fox segment.
It's the news, though.
Yeah, but I don't think you get pulled for this.
If you don't want me to play it, I won't play it. But
Yeah, the news, you could always play the news.
Okay, let me hear him say it. Let me hear him say it. This is my friend Steve Hilton's show.
Just there. And don't kid yourself, you do have a military-industrial complex. They do like war. You know, in Syria with the caliphate. So I wipe out 100% of the caliphate. That doesn't mean you're not going to have these crazy people going around blowing up stores and blowing up things. These are seriously ill people. I don't want to say, they're wiped out, ISIS. But I wiped out 100% of the caliphate. I say, I want to bring our troops back home. The place went crazy. They want to keep. You have people here in Washington.
Want it.
They never want to leave. I say, you know what I'll do? I'll leave a couple of hundred soldiers behind. But if it was up to them, they'd bring thousands of soldiers in. Someday people will explain it.
Well, this is an example.
You do have.
Whoa,
right,
that's fucking heavy. Now stop right here. Now, if that was from anyone, any normal person, you would say that guy's out of his fucking mind. That's a conspiracy. There's no one who wants war. But you hear that from the actual sitting president of the United States, who has no reason to say that. Like, why does he have a reason to say that? It must be an excuse for why he didn't pull everyone out 100%. And that's a really overlooked insight. And that's part of the problem, is that so many people hate Trump that even when he says something like that we should listen to, because it's coming from the president of the United States while he's a sitting president and while he's talking about pulling people out of war. And people still don't want to listen because it's on Fox News and because it's the president, because so many people hate the president. They don't want to hear about this. That should be something that's talked about.
The D-class that's about to happen? Shit.
You think so? What is the D-class that's about to happen?
It's
What does that mean? You mean declassification?
Declass the FISA applications. Declass everything involved in how the Russian investigation started.
Right.
That's the problem. They were trying. There's evidence, and this is coming with the FISA declass, that Trump wasn't supposed to win. There's text messages going back between two FBI agents saying, well, what if he wins? And goes, he ain't going to win. Hillary's going to crush him like a zillion to one. And he goes, but what if he does win? And these are text messages. They've been released. Anybody can
Dude, I want to continue that. I have to piss so bad. Folks, we're back from a piss break. We had to go. I've been drinking a lot of water lately. I'm trying to be super healthy.
Me too, man. I thought Pellegrino was good enough. I thought... There's no way those bubbles are good for you. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's find out.
They're not.
I've
looked up a dentist saying that like it can fuck
Okay,
up the
what would
enamel or
happen?
whatever.
What would happen to your body? How if all you drank was Perrier and Pellegrino,
Fuck up
and
your
that's
teeth.
it? No, forget about the teeth. The overall health
It's
of your
not
body.
so much about the body. It's about your teeth. Is what that is.
No, but forget about the teeth.
It's just water.
But
So
is it
it's
going to
just
give you
water?
cancer? Will you get? But the carbonation's got to be
That's what
doing
the-
something to you.
To your teeth is all it's really doing.
I wonder if it's
From what
doing
I
something
read.
to your
From what I
organs
read, yeah.
too, or something.
So is it doing
can't be
something
good.
to your teeth because of the carbonation?
It's got to.
That's
It's got to
it?
be. It's just water and carbonation.
So what's the carbonation? Is it nitrogen in the water? Like what is the carbonation? It's nitrogen, right?
Man, I hope it's great for you. I hope it. I hope
It's better.
Acid. It's
Acid.
higher acidity.
Oh my God, it's bad for you.
can be good, right?
Dun,
And that's all I was drinking for a while. But I
love
was
it.
happy with myself because, you know,
Yeah. I feel like you're doing something good.
My vice was Coca-Cola.
Right.
So it got me off Coke. I don't give a fuck about Coke. I got off it. I'll drink Coke every now and then, but I'm not. I used to be like, I want it like with a meal. If I went out to a restaurant, had to have a fucking Coke. You know what I mean? But now Pellegrino it's totally satisfies me. I'm good. I'm good with it. But then I just got away with. I just kept drinking just that.
I think it's better than Coke, but it's not as good as water. I'm gonna go with that.
Yeah, it's got to be
Yeah.
way better than Coke, right?
Coke is the worst. But why is it so delicious? Dude, some food you just want a cold Diet Coke with. Like if I have a fucking cheeseburger, I know I'm already not eating healthy. Give me a fucking Diet Coke. Why are we playing games, right? You know that feeling? Is
But a
especially
Pellegrino is
when
good enough for me. It's good enough with your burger. It's satisfying.
But if you're gonna have a burger and fries,
The
with
best is
ketchup,
Coca-Cola, for
you
sure.
want a goddamn
For
Diet
sure.
Coke. You'll work it off in the gym.
Not
Fuck it.
diet. Not diet.
You like regular Coke?
Regular Coke.
I don't like regular Coke. It's too syrupy. It's just too hard for me. It's just. Jamie's like,
So
I
good.
miss it. It's because Jamie's Midwest. Midwest, they give it to their babies. They put it in bottles and shit. Call it pop.
Yep.
Can bottle or
No, like
or
a baby
styrofoam
bottle, like a
cup.
breast.
What do
Mexican Coke.
like a breast
yes, for
bottle.
Sure.
What's that?
Mexican Coke, then Chipotle.
in a bottle?
Yeah.
Oh, but you like the styrofoam cups?
No. Only Chipotle's got a weird flavor Coke that I really like that got me back into drinking it a long time ago.
Chipotle has their
Yeah,
own
a
Coke.
lot of people say McDonald's Coke is the best. I highly disagree.
It's not all the same.
No, it's definitely not.
what?
It's weird. Yeah, they have different
They have
flavors they send
like
out
a
different
strain?
places.
Like different weed
It now
strains?
says it's original taste on the label at Chipotle, which is
What does that mean? What does
That's
that mean?
weird. Like you make a deal with Coke and you don't know which flavor you're getting.
Let me ask you this: do you think Andy Ruiz being the heavyweight champion to bring Mexicans and the rest of America closer together?
I think so.
What if he starts fucking everybody
think
up?
so.
What if he fucks up everybody? What if he becomes the man?
That would be amazing. Viva Mexico, man. Hell
Pretty
yeah.
crazy. Interesting, right? Like what Joe Louis was, or what Muhammad Ali was during the civil rights movement. How about that?
What's his
Right?
record? Has he ever
30
lost?
I think he's 31-1. One loss, but it was a split decision to Joseph Parker, who's a legit world-class fighter. So one decision.
only 29.
Yeah, he's young guy, and he's fucking good, man. Like he's good. People get confused because of the way he looks. That motherfucker throws hands, and the way he punches is super fluid. Like everything's like pow, 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 like nasty combinations. Like way quicker than most heavyweights. Way quicker. Really interesting, man. When you watch him fight, you're like, wow.
So the fight is him versus that bronze bomber guy, right?
Well, I would imagine the fight is the rematch in England in fucking Wembley Arena or some shit in front of 1 million people. That's probably going to be the rematch. And if he fucks him up again, which, man, I don't know what happened in that fight.
He
But
could fight Tyson Fury too, right?
oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, he could fight Tyson Fury. I mean, Andy can fight Tyson Fury. Andy can fight Deontay Wilder. But the big money, I think, is in the rematch. That's probably where the big money is. And then, but the problem with that is, man,
all of a sudden that heavyweight division looks good.
Oh, it's great right now. This is as good as the heavyweight division's been in decades. It's
Yeah.
amazing right now. But the most exciting is Deontay, because Deontay flatlines people with one shot in this crazy way, and he's just built like a giant Tommy Hearns, almost like. You know, and he just got crazy power, man. His power makes me just put my hand on my head and go, "What the fuck?"
You think Francis Ngannou could box?
I know he could box.
No, like with the at the top level.
No, I mean I think he could with training, but he's a little older too. You know, Francis is.
How old is he?
How old is Francis? I want to say he's 34. He started fairly late in life, learning how to fight in period. But he's so big and so powerful, man. What is he? 32? 32 is not
He's
that
young.
bad. That's young. That's
He's
pretty young. He, in my opinion, is the most dangerous one-punch guy I've ever seen. If you make any mistake with that guy, it's heavyweights just go flying across the room. Like
You
that.
think Francis Ngannou versus Andy Ruiz would be big?
Andy Ruiz is a way better boxer. So he's a way, way, way better boxer. It's a big difference.
So
Andy
no one
Ruiz
wants to
has
see it?
100 amateur fights. People would see it, just like people want to see Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor.
Yeah.
But it's kind of the same in the same way that you know Conor McGregor knocks people dead in the UFC, and Floyd Mayweather's the greatest boxer of all time. I mean, he's probably the most skillful defensive artist we've ever seen, and Floyd got hit a couple of times. The thing about Francis Ngannou is, I think even with big gloves, you can't let him hit you like that. If Floyd, the way Floyd got hit with that uppercut by Conor just kind of placed it there. He popped him. It was a good shot, but Floyd didn't get wobbled. He didn't get dropped. If Francis hits somebody like that, I don't give a fuck who you are. If he hits you with that Alistair Overeem left hook that he hit Alistair with, get the fuck out of here. No one's surviving that. He just seems like the way he knocked out Cain, when he clipped him with that little short uppercut, and Cain seemed like he didn't even know he got hit.
Yeah.
I think he hits stupid hard, like crazy, ridiculous, off the charts hard. I think when he hits people, they're just like, "What in the hell?" The only guy who's been able to survive that shit is Stipe, and of course Derek Lewis. But they just didn't do much to each other in that fight. Everybody else, he touches you with that shit, and you just go flying. He hits so goddamn hard that if he just went into boxing straight instead of UFC, who the fuck knows, man? He could be the fucking heavyweight champion of the world. Like, legitimately. If you stop and think about how quickly Deontay Wilder went from boxing to earning a bronze medal in the Olympics, it was a year and a half. I mean, Wilder is exceptionally talented, exceptionally powerful, unbelievable one-punch knockout power. But so is Francis. Like, if Francis has chosen to go that path, who fucking knows, man? Who knows? If he learns how to wrestle, like really learns how to wrestle and really learns how to submit people, can you imagine, like, where everybody has to stand with him because you're scared of him on the ground?
Yeah.
I mean, he's at 265 pounds natural and shredded the way he is with unbelievable power. That's just a super unusual case. That guy could have, any combat sport, if he went into kickboxing, same shit, be fucking everybody up. Just hits so goddamn hard. He hits people and you just go, yikes. Whoa.
It's hard to learn jiu-jitsu once you're already famous. That's a tough one.
It is tough.
That's a tough
yeah,
one.
it's tough.
Because the only way to learn jiu-jitsu correctly is with 100% sparring. And you don't do that with your wrestling that much. Or with wrestling, but you can go 100% sparring with wrestling because there's no...
You don't do that with your striking that much.
You don't do that with your striking.
Not that much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
it's possible.
And once you become famous, it's very hard to go 100% with just anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a lot on the line.
Yeah, it's possible, but it would have to be well engineered by a really good manager, right?
Yeah.
Like someone like a Dan Lambert who comes along and says, this is how we're going to do this. We're going to take this as a project, and we're going to bring in wrestlers, and these guys are going to specifically work with you on these very specific drills. We're going to help you get up and help you stay up. and we're gonna. This is what our job is. Our job is now this. We're gonna turn you into the heavyweight champion of the world. But it would have to be like someone who had like a real specific group of guys that knew the goal, and that there was no egos involved. So you're not going to bring in some guy who's going to try to out wrestle him or hurt him or knock him out or do anything. They're there working for the goal. But that's hard to do. You know, everybody has their own ideas. You know, that's one of the real problems that fighters have at a really high level is finding people that you could train with that are commensurate in skill level, but they're not trying to take you out. Mm-hmm. You know, to aid each other.
Like imagine if Mark Kerr got balls deep into jiu-jitsu and got obsessed with it. He would have had a longer career, that's for sure. And you know, if he got good on the back.
Oh my God.
And you see that with wrestlers every now and then, like after 6-7 years, you see it like, oh my God, they're taking the back now and they're choking people out. You saw that with John Fitch. You know, it took a while. He was just cool with ground and pound, just getting the takedown, and then slowly you started seeing him pass and take backs, and then he took backs.
Anthony Smith choking out Gustafsson.
Yes.
How crazy is that?
Yes.
And he did it with a broken hand.
Yeah, man, that was pretty crazy.
That fucking dude is the real deal.
Yeah,
he's the real deal.
How did the John Jones fight go? I don't remember.
John Jones just outclassed him. He was ahead of him. He knew what he was going to do before he did it.
Decision?
Yeah, 5 rounds.
5-round decision.
Yeah,
okay.
Dominant decision. John just, he
never got wobbled or knocked down ever?
No, he got hit. I mean, he definitely got hit. He took some shots, but he was fine at the end of it. Early in the fight, though, he looked very smooth, very fluid. In the first round, he looked very good, very, very composed, considering world title fight against John Jones. I mean, everything he did when he was moving, he wasn't exploding, he wasn't blowing away any nervous energy, he fought very technically, very good technical stand-up. And just, look, John is just John. John's on another level. Yeah. There's everybody else, then there's John Jones. It's another level. He knows when you're tired too. You see him when he senses like any time where you're trying to catch a break, he senses it. And he starts ramping it up and moving towards you and kicking your legs. Like you see it.
Smells blood.
He smells blood. He's a fucking straight up killer, man. He just knows. There's a lot of aspects to his game that are very interesting, but he just knows how to feel where a guy is. He knows the distance in terms of like knowing how to feel where a guy is in terms of how far away the guy is from him, because he's the best ever at utilizing his long reach, but he also knows where the guy is psychologically. He knows when guys are physically tired. He knows.
Who's he fighting next?
He's going to fight Thiago Santos.
I don't know too much about him.
Oh, my God. That guy
Beast?
throws bricks.
More of a striker than jiu-jitsu?
Oh, yeah. Way more. He's got a giant hammer tattooed on his chest.
Oh,
he
shit.
knocks people in another dimension. He's a beast, man. A legit beast.
When's that?
That's, isn't that August? Isn't that August in L.A.? I think that's the Anaheim card, I think. Am I making that up? It's a great fucking fight, though. Great fight for as long as it lasts. Who knows? You know, that guy, he can knock anybody out. He swings wild, but John should be a heavy favorite going into the fight.
John fights on the July card.
Oh, it is a July card. Oh, my God. That's right.
Stipe and DC.
That's right. That's where I got confused. Anaheim, Stipe, and DC. John Jones versus Thiago Santos.
Dude, I didn't even know that was on. Stipe and DC is on?
Yes.
Damn, I didn't know that.
Romero and Paulo Costa is also rebooked for that.
That's Anaheim as well, right?
Yeah.
Woo! Yoel Romero and Paulo Costa. Yeah. Best body ever fight. They're fighting for the best body ever. That's what they're doing. Like, who's the king?
Did he win some sort of lawsuit?
Yes. Yoel might never fight again. He won $27 million. How? Like, I give up. Because there was a supplement company that had tainted supplements legitimately. They tested them independently, and they found out that this shit it's tainted and makes people piss hot for steroid tests. So he sued him. The question is whether or not he's going to be able to collect, because when you sue someone, they can go bankrupt. Like if they're a corporation, that's why someone forms an LLC. So if they've got some steroid tainted shit and an athlete sues them, I wonder if they actually have to pay, or if they could just disband the company, because $27 million is a lot of money. You know, who knows, the company might not even be worth $27 million. I don't know what the company is. Do you know what the company is?
I'm seeing it right now.
What's the name of it?
Gold Star Performance.
That's a big name. I've heard that name before. Have you heard that name before? I think that's a big name in supplements. You know what, man?
If anything, it'll blow them up. It'll be worth it. Just pay them. We're gonna make $100 million because people are gonna jump on it. You know what I mean? Like people that
Probably,
don't fight
right?
professionally. Like,
Right.
oh shit,
It's got
cool. Let's
roids
do
in
it.
Yeah. That's true, right? Give me the shit that Hector Lombard pissed out for.
Yeah,
100%.
I got that shit.
I got that shit, son. You're gonna get a thick old neck. What's up, Jamie?
They got it.
They got what?
If this is the right company, I just looked up when I tried to type in the revenue. They're doing all right.
Yeah? How much they worth?
I don't know if this is the right company, but the one I just found says they did. I had a cash balance of $96.5 million as of December 31st.
Give up
But
the
that
$27 million to the Cuban, baby.
might not be the actual same company, but it's got the same name at least.
I bet it's that company. Let's say it is that company. Come on, give up that money. I want to see Yoel Romero just covered in furs, gold chains and shit, just living like a pimp. Well, I want to see Yoel Romero in like some sort of crazy gazelle skin coat with like full 6-pack. Just no minks, right? Minks would be better. Like something crazy. Just $27 million in the bank, not giving a fuck.
20 girls around.
Yeah.
He'll start rapping in Cuban.
I love you.
It's pretty good.
That fucking guy. He's the freakiest athlete I've ever seen. He moves so fast. Sometimes you're like what? Like when he fought Chris Weidman, I remember when he landed that flying knee. I was like, oh my god, that guy can do that out of nowhere. Out of nowhere, you can never sleep on him because he like lulls you into this false sense of everything being okay. He moves slow. You know, he just moves slow. He moves slow. He moves away when you kick him. Moves away, almost like he's conserving energy. And then boom, he just jumps on you. It's amazing to see a guy like him at 40 years of age be that fucking explosive. You know,
You're right at 40 with that lawsuit. Shit. Why fight?
He might go. Maybe he wants to fuck up Paulo Costa, and that's a wrap. Maybe after that fight. But if he actually gets the money, that's the problem. See, it's all bullshit until the money's in your bank account.
Yeah.
Because if they appeal,
Yeah.
and then they drag it into appeals court, which they probably will, right? I mean, I'd imagine
Could take years.
Could take years.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, if they have that money, they could just invest that money and just make itself back, and then give them what they invested with. Here's your money. Didn't cost a shit. They could do that too, as long as it's long enough.
Maybe they have like 500 million. They're like, 25 million.
That whole supplement world is a weird world. It's very weird. You know, we had problems with Alpha Brain early. Our Alpha Brain had other shit in it, like different vitamins in it that weren't supposed to be in there. I'm like, what is this in there? So we had to change suppliers. It's tricky, man. When you're making stuff and you're not there for every step of the way, you hire companies to do it. Like, well, how are they doing it? How are they mixing it? What's the vat look like? Did they clean that shit? You know? And then somewhere down the line, like Tim Means, he was another one. Remember Tim Means? Tim the Dirty Bird? He's a bad motherfucker. He same thing, pissed hot for some shit that was just some over-the-counter stuff. They found it. But they gave him like 6 months. I think they gave Yoel a long time too, though, didn't they? They give him like 6 months or something like that?
I don't know.
I think they gave him a long time. It was like 6 months, which apparently is worth $27 million. 27 is a nice number too, man.
Yeah, you got a 6-month suspension.
Yeah, whatever. If he gets that $27 million, he won't give a fuck about that 6-month suspension. If you had $27 million clean in the bank that you don't have to pay taxes on, is that how it works?
No, you got to pay taxes.
Do you when you get a lawsuit?
Yeah,
That seems
some of them are different. I
ridiculous.
think. It might
Like, why
depend
not?
on
It
where you
seems-
are.
That seems ridiculous.
Like, why would the government say, you could keep that?
Well, why would the government get a piece of you getting your
They get a
career
piece of
damaged?
everything.
I know, but isn't that nuts? They get but that's funny. Like, they've ruled that you got damaged, so someone has to give you money to make up for all the money that you lost. You lost $27 million worth of revenue. We're gonna make it right, Yoel. So they give them that $27 million, and the government's like, not so fast. You might have lost $27 million, but we didn't get our piece.
I bet you have to pay taxes.
If you didn't have to pay taxes on things, imagine how few people would pay taxes. You know what it would be like if the IRS wasn't so fucking ruthless, chasing people down? It would be like those things where you bought 99 records for $1. Remember that? Where nobody ever paid for it? The
Yeah.
record club?
Yeah.
They would send you the cassettes.
For a penny.
Yeah, it was like a penny.
Yeah.
And you get you get to pick these. You get to pick this. Oh, REO Speedwagon. Ooh, Billy Joel, The Stranger. And you get to check off the list in the box.
No one ever paid.
No one paid. I don't know a single person that paid. They tried to chase me down.
Maybe they didn't want the money. They just wanted to spread the music.
Maybe they did. Maybe it was a scam. Maybe they insured themselves against a certain amount of loss and a certain amount of suckers paid. Because they did harass you a little bit. They'd send you letters like, hey, man, sent you all those Kiss cassettes. You haven't gotten back to us.
Yeah.
Remember that? Did you do that, Jamie?
Yeah, Columbia House is what it's called.
Yeah, Columbia
That's
House.
right, Columbia Record
And then they'd
House.
send you shit like a box with shit you didn't want. Like, I don't want Hall & Oates.
Was it Columbia House Records or Columbia Records House?
It was a club.
They were
A
always
club.
in TV guides.
That's
there was
right.
always a little
That's
advertising
right.
insert.
Dude, that's the first time I found out about, well, it was actually late night TV, about Dianetics. I didn't know Dianetics was Scientology. I thought it was like, you got to kick ass, take on the world, get away from your insecurities and your fears.
They drag you in a little bit first.
They drag you in with a volcano, and
Smart.
they're showing the volcano
Smart.
in the commercial.
That's way better than like those dudes you see at freeway overpasses that are screaming, Jesus saves!
Yeah.
Jesus saves! Like, dude,
How come you didn't save you from doing this?
You ain't bringing nobody to Jesus, man.
Yeah.
But it's smart. You don't tell them, you want to get someone into Jesus, you don't tell them it's about Jesus. You know what I mean? You just bring
Or-
them in. It's self-help.
The real way to get someone into Jesus is to lead by Jesus' example and be a really good Christian. And someone says, well, why are you such a nice person? Say, because I'm a Christian. And a real Christian is a really nice person. And the person would be like, damn, I want to be a really nice person. And they say, well, why don't you come to church with me on Sunday? And next thing you know, you go to
that's
church with them.
Brilliant.
That's how you do it.
That's how you do it. You can't
be
be
a really
screaming
nice
Jesus
person.
on the corner of Hollywood Boulevard and La Brea.
But then when they corner you,
You go, don't you say that. Don't you say I did.
you got pretty eyes. You got pretty eyes.
That's going to be cut up.
Should be cut out. That guy seemed demonic to me, man. He creeped me the fuck out. That creeped me out, man. That guy's used to telling people things like that. He's used to yelling at people and pointing his finger at them. That long fingernail pointed at you. Don't you say I did.
You'd make a great demon.
Imagine what it must be like to be a fly on the wall, one of those billion-dollar preachers. Just, they must be getting pussy. They must be.
Oh,
There has to be, right?
of course.
It has to be top shelf. They'll be flying them in from Czechoslovakia and shit. Just
They got their crew of actors.
skiing in on a fucking hill of cocaine.
It's crazy how, yeah, they got a bunch of actors and plants and all that shit, but it's crazy how they get people to believe it and they get put in trances and shit. And, some of them are acting, but some of them are like, there's a certain percentage of people that are hypnotizable.
Yeah.
What is it? Like,
You know what it is,
20%
man?
maybe.
It's the people that didn't get sucked into pro wrestling. Pro wrestling could have got them. They would have believed that was real. They missed that, and they got sucked into like the snake handlers and shit.
What percentage do you think? Because when you go to those hypnotist shows, the scam is before the show. Like, this is considered the scam part is before the show. They go into the audience and they find people that are easily hypnotized, right? So then they bring them
One
out.
of the things they do is they let you be aware that they might call upon you. And so just to make sure that your story matches, we would like to know whatever happened to you. Is there something that's bothering you so that we know that when Cindy the Magnificent, when she calls out to you, that your story matches up with the piece of paper. There's little weird tricks they do with
Yeah.
people. They ask them to fill out these forms,
Yeah.
talk about their childhood.
That's the
where'd
psychic
you
shit.
grow
That's
up.
psychic shit,
Yeah.
for sure. Like, they'll have
Clairvoyance.
gophers, like, listening to
Yeah.
people talk.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about
Preachers do that, too.
Hypnotist shows,
Yeah.
where they take, like, a couple, maybe they take one person
Oh,
on
I see
stage,
what you're saying.
and they hypnotize them, then they wake them up, and then they make them do weird shit that they don't remember.
Oh, yeah, dude, I saw that before.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So that's real.
Oh, it's real.
So there are people, a
Yes.
certain percentage of the population, who knows what it is. Maybe it's 10%, maybe it's 60%. Who knows? But there are people that can be put under a spell.
Under a spell.
In it, they could be in a trance.
Yes,
do
100%.
something while they're awake. They're awake and they do something under command without any control, and they don't remember it, and then they get snapped out of it.
Yes.
All that's real.
Yes.
That's crazy.
To varying degrees.
Yeah.
But and it's real in live audiences, which is particularly weird.
Yeah.
Frank Santos, the R-rated hypnotist, was a staple in Boston when I was coming up. When I was an open micer, Frank actually even ran a comedy club at one point in time. And his son is a hypnotist now. Frank Santos, he would do Stitch's Comedy Club. me and Greg Fitzsimmons and Nick DiPaolo and all these guys, we saw him do this, and he would do it on a regular basis. It happened every week. He had one night a week and it wasn't just at that club. It was one night a week at Stitches, but it was like one night a week at Nick's Comedy Stop and one night a week at Giggles. Sorry. But he would get a bunch of people out of the audience, and he would have a bunch of volunteers. Who wants to volunteer? And you get the people on the stage, and everybody would be like, well, I can't believe we're here. And they would hypnotize them and do this thing. You're getting sleepy. You're going to listen to me. I'm going to count to 5. And when I count to 5, you are going to be doing push-ups, and underneath you is going to be Madonna, and she's going to be naked. And he would do that, and it would work on some people. And he'd look at people and he goes, you're not under. Come on, come with me. And he would get rid of them, but then some people would just be under. And you would be like, this isn't real. Is this real? But then you would see your friend go up there. You would see someone you knew go up there. And you would see people see their friends go up there. And they couldn't believe it. And the person was really doing it. And you could tell they were really doing it. And they'd be so embarrassed. They'd be so embarrassed when they found out that they did this in front of these people. They'd be like, what? Yeah, you came in your pants. And like some guys would actually come in their pants. They would come in their pants. He would tell them, well, I'm going to count to 3, and like number 3, you're going to come in your pants. 1, 2, 3. And you got to be like, oh, no. You'd see them get like super embarrassed. Like, these aren't good actors. But you could see the embarrassment in their face. They were bewildered. They were so confused. They were like, what happened? How did this happen? But it wasn't everybody. Like,
I wonder if there's
probably couldn't do
I wonder
it.
if there's I would love to see a documentary on people getting hypnotized and like proving that it's real and doing different
Well,
things.
I got hypnotized.
You went under?
It real. Yeah. But I didn't get hypnotized to do anything. I got hypnotized by Vinny Shorman. Vinny Shorman, the mental coach.
Did he make you do things you didn't remember?
I hope not. No, I just laid there. He gave it to me. No, I laid there, and he talked to me while I was laying there. And when he was talking to me, I knew he was there, and I knew I was there, and I knew I was just chilling on this couch. It wasn't like I was in a trance and I was going somewhere, and I was very aware that it was happening. But it was like he put me in a suggestive state. And he was talking to me about various things that I wanted to work on, mostly organization and discipline stuff. Like discipline, like getting things done, and which is something that I'm always concentrating on. And then when it was over, it was just over. I was awake through all of it, but it was weird. It was like a weird state. It was like as if like the regular world has like a crazy filter over it. Like, shh.
Were you stoned? That's a yes.
It's hard to guess. I would probably say yes. It sounds like me.
Well, you
if I had
weren't
to
you
ask.
weren't hypnotized like the kind of like those dudes that don't remember what they did and all that. But you
he doesn't do that though, and I think other people can do that, and I think they do that to some people. But that's not what he's trying to do. Anybody, I think, and I'm speaking for Vinny. But I think that anybody can allow themselves to get into this suggestive state, to get in this state of hypnosis. But that's different than the kind of people that will think that they really are having sex with Madonna on stage.
Yeah.
Or the type of people that really do come in their pants.
That's
like,
crazy. I'm talking about those people.
Locked in. There's something locked in about them. But it was 100% real.
You think those people that are easily hypnotizable can be influenced? They could be hypnotized by something on a TV screen?
Maybe.
You think it's possible?
Yeah, maybe. Why not? I don't know what the element. What's causing you to go under? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it just the words, the way the person's saying it?
Yeah.
Is it them looking your? Frank Santos was an interesting guy. He was a very short fellow, and this is coming from a short guy. And he had glasses, and he was kind of like a big guy, and he was heavy. You know, he was overweight, and it just seemed real unassuming and sweet and kind and soft and just, hello everybody, how are you? You know, and it's just talking to you. Are you gonna get sleepy? You're gonna get sleepy. You gonna sleep? You're sleepy. And they would just nod off. He'd be like, whoa, what the fuck? He just knew how to do it. And he would do it so calmly and confidently. And he would do it every week. And every week we would watch. Some people would work on, some people wouldn't work on.
I wonder if anybody can do it. Anybody can put someone under a trance if they were taught the right way. And they just, all you got to do is learn something.
Yeah.
Or is it some kind of special gift or something?
I bet it's a skill. I bet it's a skill, but I bet it's just like having a good personality. Like some people, you want to hear them talk all the time.
Dude, what if there's dudes like that they date and they're just looking for girls they could they're just looking for girls they could hypnotize.
Dude,
so they go, they got a live one, they take them home, make them do all sorts of crazy shit.
I knew a guy who was a comic who also worked as a hypnotist, and he could hypnotize people. And I remember walking by him while he was talking to this girl, and she goes, No, I don't want to be hypnotized. And I remember thinking, what are you saying to her? Oh, this was back in the Dizzy, too.
What if there was a hypnotist / comedian that mastered hypnotizing people from the stage and he got them to laugh hysterically at everything, and so he's just like killing and crushing every night?
Well, I think comedy is a form of mass hypnosis. It's funny you say that, because I think that's what's happening when you're locked in. Like when you're locked in and everyone's locked into what you're doing and you're killing. There's these moments where it's like the audience syncs minds with you, like hypnotism. It's very similar, because when you're killing, there's this feeling that you get where you're like, it's an energy feeling. It's not just you saying something and they think you're so funny, so you feel so good. It's like you're riding this wave. And as long as you've practiced the material so much that you know where the beats are, and as long as you're so engaged in the material that you really are thinking about it as you're saying it, you're not bullshitting them. You're not just saying the words, because they know when you're just saying the words. They want you to be fully engaged. But there's these moments when you are fully engaged and they know you are, and you're riding this wave together because you know the material so much so that you can be fully engaged but not have to think about what comes next, because you know what comes next, but you're saying it as if you've never said it before, and you're thinking of it as if you've never thought it before. You're thinking of it as if you've never said it before, and they're locked in, and it's like hypnosis. It's very, very similar. As far as I know, I mean, I've never hypnotized anybody, but I feel like when you're killing, it's a state of mind. It's like you're achieving a group state of mind with all these people. It's weird.
Yeah.
That's why I say that like specials are like at the very best 80% of what it's like to be there. At the very best. It's probably not even close. I'm probably being super generous with what a special actually is in comparison to being there live. Like there's sometimes I'll see a recording and I'm like, I thought that was better. I thought that was better when I saw it live. Because when I was live and I was watching the person, I was in the room.
Yeah.
You know, I'm soaking up the laughs in the room. All the people in the room. Everybody took an Uber to get there. They got drinks. They're excited. They're pumped up. The guy's killing. You're locked in. You're in the room with these people. Can't you believe you just said that? Ah!
Yeah.
And you're all feeling it together. At home, you're getting a fraction of that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like hypnosis, man. There's an energy that's being shared. You know, I mean, you've been doing a lot of stand-up now. Don't you feel like that? Like when it clicks, like there's an energy that's being bounced back and forth between two people, between you and the audience.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. I mean, when it works, you know, I'm a blue belt in comedy. You know what I mean? You're like a coral belt, red belt. You know what I mean? You know, I'm pulling it off, and it feels good. Even when you just pull it off, and everyone's laughing, and everyone's having a good time.
There's those
it fucking
moments.
feels great. Yeah, it feels
those moments.
That's
where
why I'm doing
in.
it, because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
It's just like what I do after jiu-jitsu. You know, I hang out with my students, and we just talk about the craziest shit for about 10, 15 minutes, and then I go home. It happens almost every night. We're talking about crazy shit, and it's the same thing. We're making each other laugh, and when it works on stage, it's that times 1,000. It just, you know, when people are laughing and everything's working, it's great. Obviously, when it's not working and they smell blood and you're not feeling what you're saying and kind of just going through the motions, and that happens to me. You know, I'm still new in the game. That sucks.
Yeah,
that's horrible. But luckily, the first year, you know, I was just trying to figure out what the fuck I was gonna do and trying to structure my set. I smoked weed before I went on stage. I don't do that no more. I go on stage just clear minded, and it's way better because it's easier to remember all the material when you're not stoned. You know, eventually I can, you know, go back to smoking weed like you before a set, because I've gotten the structure down so well that I could just go up there, and it's like, you know, when I teach and I do a seminar, I got that shit down on lock.
Well, I really like doing Sober October. I really like not smoking before shows too. Yeah. It's fun. It's fun to do. It's different.
Have a cocktail, you know what I mean?
I couldn't even do that at Sober October. Everything was just completely sober.
Yeah. I like, you know, having a drink, and then, you know, maybe a cup of coffee, get my blood going, boom. Like before I teach, I have some coffee, you know.
I move around. That's one thing I do. I stretch out, move around.
Shadow box.
I get my body loose. I just want to get the blood pumping. I just want to feel looser physically. It's hard to know like when though. You know, like when is it looser? Is it looser right now? Like, I have just a bunch of things that I do. I just start throwing knees, loosen up my arms, stretch my back out, stretch my legs out. Yeah.
When it works though, man, when you're just like connected with the audience, where I felt that the most so far was in Houston, almost a year ago, and just for some reason, man, that crowd, it was a Saturday night. Saturday night, yes, I caught a wave. They were all waiting to scream. They could, as soon as I walked on stage, they were already laughing. I didn't even say anything. They were just all ready to go. Yeah. Curtis was there with Priscilla, his fiance, and that was the best night so far. I mean, as far as connection, and man, you're chasing that. You always want that. You always want that same high. And then the next day in Austin, man, it was the opposite.
We talked about this the last time you were here. Yeah, you had a rough set on Sunday. That's nice though. I'm good. That's good for you.
Can I throw a little Houston plug? Not this weekend, but next Friday, June 14th, me and Sam Tripoli are doing Tinfoil Hat Comedy. Friday in Plano, Texas, which is just outside of Dallas. And then Saturday, June 15th, we're back at the Secret Group in Houston. That's where that was my favorite night so far. So hopefully we could do the same thing again. I'm keeping my fingers crossed. But beautiful, man, I'm really looking forward to going back to Houston.
Yeah, me too. I'm announcing a bunch of dates on Wednesday, and Houston and Dallas are both on that menu. And then we're doing another date in Colorado. Colorado's two nights now, 23 and the 24th at the Belco, JoeRogan.com for all that shit.
How about those Houston gigs used to do like back in 2004, 2005? Remember we'd go to Houston, Austin. Those were some crazy. Houston was always, for some reason,
fun comedy town.
Dude, they're ready to laugh, dude.
Yeah, well, that's where Kinnison started, Kinnison started there, Hicks started there. A lot of great comics came out of Houston. It was a good spot. Yeah. So they had like a real appetite for comedy then. They're smart people that are, they're living in like it's like a Texas city. So it's like Texas, but it's also city. So Houston's a great spot. Yeah. It's one of the best. All right, let's wrap this bitch up. Bring it home. Eddie Bravo.
Thank you very much.
Tell people, Eddie Bravo, you on Instagram, it's
Eddie Bravo 10P. 10P.
And what is it on Twitter? Do you use Twitter anymore?
I'm never on Twitter. Okay. I mean, it's at Eddie Bravo, but I'm never on there.
That's it. Bye, everybody. Thank you.
See you.
Fun time.
That was a good one.